Welcome to the wasted world of sports, where the game's just a backdrop for drunken retorts. Rugby league or union, it's all fair play, but it's the banter that steals the show. Hey, 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 hey. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. Scrums and tries, they're all well and good, but we're here for the jokes and take pants last from the kickoff to the final whistle blow. We'll take the two and we're ready to go. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. We break down the plays, but it's all in jest. With a laugh and a cheer, we bring out our best. No serious analysis, no expert critiques, just a bunch of mates sharing plenty of drinks. We'll raise a roll, from sideline jokes to post-match tales, all big goofs and their big fails. We're not so serious, and that's our style. With each ahoy, we raise our skies. Ahoy, ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. So come along and join our sporty crew, where the banter's always fresh and the laughs are true. Oh, wasted world of sports, here's to our cheer. We'll see you on the pitch and drink some beer. Yeah.
Wasted world of sports, eh?
Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Tedesco's butt crack.
Ahoy!
He's nearly taken security's head off.
I have no idea what the wasted world of sports is.
Wasted World of Sports crew, ahoy. How is everybody doing this Sunday afternoon? We are ready. Preliminary final number 2. Who will be going through to face the Melbourne Storm in the grand final? We know that I've been saying since the end of last season, it will be these two teams in the grand final again. It was looking a bit flaky there after about 12 rounds when the Panthers were at the bottom of the table. But here we are, the brink of a rematch. I hope that you listen to me and load it up. Heel Fries, ahoy, mate. Chris Bradley, ahoy, buddy. The first of the channel members to arrive. Oh, and look at that. I've got the channel members chat covered up with my cheeky little bets. Let me fix that. There we go. We can't have the channel members chats covered up. So we've got about, we've got about 20 minutes or thereabouts to get through this pre-game, talk a few things about what could happen, and chuck some bets on. James Tyre, ahoy, mate. No, Michelle's going to sit this one out. I think the weekend's all been a bit much with her team got absolutely demolished in the AFL Grand Final. And to back that up today, if the Broncos go on and lose, it might be just a bit too much this weekend. So, but you know, we wish our best of luck to Michelle in this game for her team. The Broncos women got a win earlier on. How about that? Chris Bradley says Panthers by 20. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about match predictions. Now, one thing that I have found very interesting in the lead up to this game, I don't know how much attention you all pay to the media and the interviews in the pregame and whatnot. Not me, Heel Fries. I just thought it was worth mentioning because the Broncos have actually got a win today already. And I'm sure that all 10 people in the crowd thoroughly enjoyed it. But I digress. I'm not allowed to say things like that. I get in trouble for saying things like that. But anyway. All 10 of those same people are very furious at me when I say things like that. Oh, we're off to a good start here. Okay, so I don't know who pays attention to the pregame stuff, the media interviews and whatnot, but what I've found very interesting, what I find very, very interesting is the Broncos in the lead up, they've been very lippy. They've been doing a lot of this, lots of tough talk. And, I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but tough talk seems a little bit ridiculous when, well, that's the wrong image. Tough talk seems a little bit silly when you take into consideration this is the recent history between the Broncos and the Panthers. You can see the Broncos one victory out of what, the last 10 or 11 games? So I just think for the Broncos to come out in the press, Tony Staggs has said how he's going to run over the top of the Panthers' left edge defense. Reece Walsh was asked the question, how are you going to contain the Panthers? And his response was, how are they going to contain us? Well, mate, they've contained you pretty bloody well over the past 11 games, is all I'm saying. So, look, it's not to say, by the way, I'm not using this as any sort of example that the same thing will happen. Look, the Broncos did get a win in there. So it's not like they can't win again. I just find it interesting, the tough talk that's come out of the Broncos camp with that recent history. It makes you look a little bit foolish, in my opinion. So they've just put all this extra pressure on themselves now in the press because if they now don't come out and match the very, very big words that they've given themselves, they look even more ridiculous. Now, that being said, it could be a little bit of a red herring as well. You know, maybe they're saying, look, we're going to run over this left edge defense. All the while, all their pregame has perhaps been like, look over here, this is where we're going to be coming. They might attack down this edge, right? So it could be a little bit of, what's the word? A little bit of a distraction Jones, you know, like the government does all the time to distract us from what's really going on. Maybe Madge has just said, look over here, we're really going to focus over here. But anyways, look, I'm actually backing Tony Staggs here. I'm just bringing up points, right? I'm just bringing up points. My opinion is, though, that Tony Staggs has been in red-hot form at the moment, and the Panthers are susceptible on their left edge. So Tony Staggs, for mine, a cheeky little bet, first, second, or third try scorer. If the Broncos are to win this game, they're going to have to start red-hot and pretty much lead all the way through the match. I don't think the Broncos will win this game coming from behind like they did against the Raiders. The Panthers aren't going to stop playing 15 minutes out from the end, no matter how far ahead they might be. So I'm backing Tony Staggs first, second, or third try scorer because he's paying a nice little payout there on that one. Now, if we flip to the other side of the coin, let's talk about the Penrith Panthers and let's talk about Mitch Kenny. Mitch Kenny, who's returned late in the season and just really brought this team to life, sparked the backline attack. Mitch Kenny, number 9, he has got 4 career tries. 4 career tries. So why, in God's name, Dan, would you suggest that Mitch Kenny is a smoky for any time try scorer? Because Mitch Kenny has scored 4 career tries. 3 of them have been in separate games against the Brisbane Broncos. It's not like he scored all 3 in one game. 3 of his 4 career tries have come in separate games against the Brisbane Broncos. Mitch Kenny loves a try against the Bronx. Mitch Kenny, a smoky for any time try scorer. But I've loaded up on my same game multi. The one that I've got on screen, I've also got some more that are off screen. Katoni Staggs, Brian To'o, Karapani, and Nathan Cleary. It's a safe four-legger. I've also gone for some pretty wild ones. Somebody else that I didn't get to put up on the screen, Liam Martin. Liam Martin, we know that Reece Walsh is always out of position defensively, right? Constantly out of position defensively. Nathan Cleary is going to be putting in those little grubbers behind the line. You know the ones that just bend in behind the goalposts. For Liam Martin charging on that right edge to scoop it up. Liam Martin's also a smoky for anytime try. I just didn't get a chance to pop it up on the screen there. So, yeah, let's go Liam Martin, anytime try scorer as well. All right. Let's go to the chat room. Let's see what's going on over there. Gamer Mel, you're 99% going to the game next weekend, as long as I can get tickets on Tuesday. Very nice, Gamer Mel. We're talking about the grand final, of course. That'll be awesome. Vincent Spears Music, ahoy, mate. Mookie, ahoy. Manuel Snow says, let's hope the ref doesn't ruin the game by giving the Broncos a forward pass try. Let's just hope in general. Manuel Snow, I did say at the top of the stream in the chat room, I did say, look, regardless of what happens in this game, if the Broncos win, I hope that at the end of the game, we're talking about what a great performance it was. The Broncos had their match of the season, and they played perfect footy to knock off the Penrith Panthers. If the Panthers win, I hope that we're talking about just what a dynasty, what a machine this Penrith Panthers team is, and it continues to roll on. Either way, no matter who wins, I just hope that's what we're talking about and not anything to do with the referee or the bunker. That would be the worst case scenario to come out of this game, is to be all the conversation to be about the bunker or the referee. James Tyre says, have a guess who scores the first try. Well, I've got Katoni Staggs, first, second, or third try scorer. I think the Broncos absolutely have to score first. The Broncos absolutely have to score first if they're going to be any chance in this one. That's my personal opinion. I think that it's been blown out of proportion a little bit. The Broncos' form, for some reason, there's just this overwhelming confidence from Broncos supporters. I don't get it. I mean, we just looked at the record. I mean, maybe Broncos supporters can explain to me in the chat room, what is the cause of this just overwhelming confidence coming into this game? A team that you've only beaten once out of the past 10 or 11 attempts. Where is this just overwhelming confidence that you're going to smash them come from? I'm so curious. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just curious to know, where does this unprecedented confidence come from? Mookie. Captain Redbeard says the power of the toilet water. I see. I understand. Chris Bradley says delusion mostly. Well, I do think I think their form has been overstated, personally. A lot of the confidence, from what I see, seems to stem from that comeback against the Raiders. Whereas I'd be more inclined to focus on the 65 minutes that prior to that 15-minute blitz when Canberra stopped playing. But that's just me. Vincent Spears Music, you just don't want a Panthers Storm grand final? Well, I do, because, as we know, I put money on that at the end of last season. Oh, yeah, by the way, before I forget, I was going to tell you what Liam Martin was paying. So, Reece Walsh, out of position. Nathan Cleary is going to bend those grubber kicks in behind the line to sit up for Liam Martin. Anytime try scorer, $5. So Mitch Kenny's actually better value for the anytime try. That's probably why I put him on the screen. Listen to this one, though. Okay. Ben Tolte. Ben Tolte is so unknown, he still doesn't even have a profile picture on the NRL website. Ben Tolte, Ezra Mam is starting in the number 14. I'll talk about that momentarily and that decision. It's either going to be a masterstroke or it's going to backfire terribly. We'll talk about that in a second. Ben Tolte, Ezra Mam, Luke Garner. Again, Luke Garner comes on late in the game. Those grubber kicks in behind, Reece Walsh out of position. It's Liam Martin, it's Sorensen, it's Garner, it's Henry. Somebody is going to take one of those kicks in behind. So, what I'm thinking is 3 legs, all interchange players. You can just imagine what that's going to pay. 3-leg, anytime try scorer multi, all bench players. Huh? That's got to be worth a pretty penny, right? Well, I can tell you exactly what it is. It is 151 to 1. 151 to 1. Ben Tolte, Ezra Mam, Luke Garner. All 3 interchange players in the same game multi. 151 to 1. I mean, why not just chuck a couple of bucks on it, right? We've all got a spare $5. Chuck $5 on that. Ben Tolte's been scoring tries. Luke Garner's been scoring tries. Ezra Mam's an unknown. Ezra Mam is either going to... Well, let's segue straight into that now. Ezra Mam is on the bench in the 14 jersey. I don't understand... Well, just because he's wearing the number 14 doesn't mean he's going to play as a 14. Ezra Mam's a 6, and he's only a 6. That's the only position he plays. Putting him anywhere else on the field would be lunacy. He's a 6, and he'll play as such. So even though he's got the 14, he'll come onto the field as a 6. Everybody else will shuffle around because of him entering the fray. Ben Hunt will move to 9. Corey Pakes will make way. So essentially, they're starting the game with their utility already on the field. My concern for the Broncos. And this is what I was saying, it's either going to be a masterclass from Madge, or it's a decision that will backfire terribly. Because Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds, both coming back from soft tissue injuries, right? Both hammies, soft tissue injuries. Either one of them could do their hammies in again. Like, they've rushed back. They're not fully fit. There's no plausible way they're 100%. If Ezra Mam cannot get through an 80-minute game and start, that's dangerous to have him on the bench. Because if he now comes out onto the field and does his hammy in the first 5 minutes, re-injures an injury that isn't 100% healed, the Broncos have now lost 2 interchanges. That's the risk. That's the risk versus reward. The reward obviously being Ezra Mam, speedy little darts around the place, finding gaps in tiring defense. That's the idea, I'm sure. That's the mindset. We'll inject him late into the game against tiring forwards, and he'll just nip around and find gaps everywhere, use his pace. But you can't run on one leg. That's the concern. So, and if he falls over, if Adam Reynolds falls over, they've lost essentially 2 interchanges in one. It's a risk. It's a very, very bold call. But you've got to take some bold calls to beat this Penrith Panthers team, don't you? They're not going to win the game, the Broncos, just by going out and doing the same thing as they always do. It's going to take something a little bit different. And that, I'm sure, is why the decision was made. It's kind of an all-or-nothing weekend, and that's alarming in of itself. So much focus has gone on this, the revenge from the 2023 grand final. And that's not just media hype. The Broncos themselves have been saying it's a revenge story arc. I'd be concerned that they've put too much focus on this game. So even if they win this, they've put so much focus on this game, this story, revenge. Now, this could be their grand final. I'd be concerned about that. I'd also be very happy. If I'm a Broncos supporter, I'd be very, very happy to win and go through to another grand final. And I'm not suggesting otherwise. I'm not suggesting that they shouldn't be pleased if they get the win here today. I'm just saying I'd be nervous. Very, very nervous that they'll be a spent force. I'm also concerned the Panthers are battle-hardened. The Broncos, they haven't played a lot of tough footy in recent weeks. They had a relatively soft draw coming into the finals. Yes, they beat the Melbourne Storm in the final round, an understrength Melbourne Storm who had nothing to play for, whereas the Broncos were battling for a confirmed top 4 spot. Take nothing away from them. They still won. I just wonder if they can get to that level, the level that the Panthers will get to. Wearing their pink jerseys today, the Penrith Panthers. Either way, like I said, I just hope that we're talking about what a great game it was. Either way, no matter who wins, I just hope that we're talking about a great game of footy at the end and not some controversial referee decisions. Oh, by the way, quickly, before they come out and kick off, let's go through this one. This is absolute lunacy, but I couldn't help putting this one on. Check this one out as they run out onto the field. Check this one out. 7 legs. Karapani, Alamotti, To'o, Walsh, Papali'i, Shibasaki, all Katoni Staggs, Nathan Cleary, 7 legs, anytime tries, 250 to 1. How's that for madness? I couldn't help but put that one on. So we'll keep an eye on that at halftime and see how that's traveling. But yes, for the actual game, let's back Katoni Staggs to put his money where his mouth is and get that try. He reckons he's going to run over the top of the Panthers' left edge defense. Let's back him in to put his money where his mouth is and get that try. Brian To'o and Nathan Cleary, I mean, they're as certain as things can get. In big games, the experienced heads, and Karapani's a little bit of a smoky. I thought about putting Karapani in combo with somebody else, but yeah, I've got so many other bets on the day. I can, and I won Friday night on the Sharks Storm game. We got that 4-leg multi up, so we're playing with profits. Let's go all out. Let's go for a big win. Kickoff moments away. Preliminary final number 2, Panthers. Oh, Moses Leota has got game face on. Holy hell, big Moses. Good friend of the channel, Morgan. He's on Moses Leota watch every single week. He's in beast mode. 5 seconds until kickoff. Let's get this party started. Broncos with the kickoff. And they send it down to the Panthers' left edge and running from the back fence. Lindsay Smith with the first hit up. They've kept that ball away from the charging bull, Moses Leota, who gets his turn now. Big defense from the Broncos in midfield, but it's all sideways. They've driven Moses Leota sideways about 15 metres. Liam Martin now runs straight at Ben Hunt. Payne Haas looks fired up as well. Payne and the Haas. Here's Yo now, brings it outside the 20. Held up in the tackle and holds his ground. Play 4, and they're outside of their red zone here, the Panthers. Kenny to Edwards. Edwards taking that final hit up as he so often does. Solid first set of 6 defensively for the Panthers. Cleary with the big kick. It's allowed to bounce, and it bounces in behind Walsh. Gets away from him, but he's got the pace to get back there with no harm done on the 10. And he returns it to the 20 where they pick him up and drive him backwards. Stalemate early on here in these early exchanges. Oh, this is finals footy. Finals footy personified. The big D. Dane Mariner. Up to the 30. Short side. Walsh takes the hit up. Gets a quick play of the ball away. Nice ruck speed here for the Broncos. They're up to halfway on the 5th and last. Oh, Sorensen limping in back play. Scotty Sorensen, this is huge. Friendly fire there from Blaze to Lungy. Scott Sorensen. Wobbling around in back play. He'll be off for a HIA, and that is not the start that the Panthers needed. Scott Sorensen, that is plain as day. HIA. Onto the field comes Luke Garner, and that is an early blow for the Panthers. Well, we did say the Broncos are going to have to be perfect, and they're going to need everything to go their way. That's an early tick in the box for the Broncos as Walsh puts this ball high. Edwards under it. Kick chase through is a good one. And Piakora lines up the fullback. A great kick chase there from Piakora. Straight out of the Liam Martin playbook, that one. Alamotti taken sideways as Tungo now goes from dummy half. Ducks under the tackle and gets some go forward. Kenny from dummy half. Some good meters there around the ruck. Now Edwards goes. Gives it to Leota. Leota's up to halfway. Good strong carry. Fifth and last. They turn that set around the Panthers. Cleary on halfway. Puts this one high. Martin flying through. Liam Martin puts pressure on Karapani, who's done extremely well in the face of those kick chases. Broncos back inside their own red zone. Huge defense from both teams. Scott Sorensen, Category 1, ruled out 2 minutes into the contest. Scott Sorensen's night is over. Well, his day. Day and night. Wow, so that's an early bounce of the ball there for the Broncos, so to speak. One of the Panthers' big forwards ruled out. Pain in the Haas, driven back in the tackle. Fifth and last. Walsh from inside his own 30 gets the kick away. And backing up to take it on the full is Alamotti. Alamotti with the offload of Tungo. Tungo steps back in field. And the Panthers will start this set on the 40-meter line. Good kick return. Alamotti now up towards halfway. Scott Sorensen ruled out. Cat 1 HIA. Huge. Edwards tries to spin away from the tackle. Halfway through this set now, the Panthers. Just inside the Broncos territory. Smith sets it up inside the 40. Midfield. Cleary wants it on the right. Heads back in field. Fifth and last. Pain in the Haas. Careful there, mate. Third man in. 35 out to Lungy. Puts the kick up. It's a little heavy. It's going to land just outside the Broncos goal line. But under no pressure there is the big D. Broncos 5 out from their own line, though. Just a little too heavy, the kick. Wasn't a bad kick. Just a little too heavy. Overcooked it ever so slightly. Walsh from dummy half gives it to Hunt. Hunt dummies. Tries to open them up in midfield. Panthers defense. Wise to that. Tackle 4 now on the 40-meter line. Walsh looks for a quick play of the ball. Reynolds down the short side. Gives it to Staggs. Staggs is chopped down by To'o on halfway. Fifth and last. Short side for Reynolds to put this one high. Edwards is under it. Lets Alamotti know he can take it. And Alamotti will hit this one back up outside the 20. Nyan Cat, our latest channel member. Ahoy there, mate. Welcome along. Five minutes gone, no score in this one. 40 meters out from their own line, the Panthers. Halfway through the set. Edwards up to halfway. 4 tackles gone. Cleary at pace. Gets the offload late. Back for Kenny. Kenny to Yo in midfield. Yo straightens. Fifth and last. 40 meters out. Cleary puts this one high. Chasing through again. Liam Martin. Pressure on Karapani. Karapani does well again. Tungo and Martin pin him down. 5 out from their own line. The Broncos. Shibasaki heading sideways. The old Panther says Sorensen won't play again this year. he might play Pacific Champs though. But yes, that is Scotty Sorensen's NRL season done. 2 tackles left for the Broncos. Smoothy doesn't have that same line penetration as Carrigan. 5th and last. Walsh from inside the 30, using that breeze at his back. Bouncing it awkwardly. It's going to bounce back towards the Broncos. Stags with the flick pass out. It's touched. 6 more tackles. The Broncos 25 out from the line. And the Big D surrenders in the tackle. Oh, they're getting the bounce of the ball early here, the Broncos. We did say they have to be perfect, and everything's going to have to go their way. The Scott Sorensen HIA, and now that bounce of the ball. It's gone their way early. Can they take advantage? Left they go for Walsh. Cut out pass for Karapani to step back in field. Early pressure now on the Panthers. 10 out from the line are the Broncos. Play 2. Walsh at first receiver. On it goes to Hunt. Inside ball for Corey Jensen. Tackle 3. Right in the front of the post. Pakes goes to the left. Walsh to Shibasaki. Well read by the Panthers defense. And called a forward pass. Oh my God. Was it called a forward pass or did Shibasaki drop it? Either way, the Panthers defense take a bow. Oh, Shibasaki's lost it. I was going to say, Reece Walsh wouldn't get called for a forward pass. Shibasaki has knocked it on in contact. And what an opportunity lost. No score in this one. 8 minutes gone. Panthers have the scrum on their own 10. Big defense again. The Broncos, they've definitely out-enthused the Panthers early on here, this opening 9 minutes. But as we know, the Panthers absolutely have another few gears. Somstar, ahoy, mate. Jason the Palm, ahoy. Oh, Luke Garner, slow to get up here. Adam Reynolds stopped to the play. They might be losing another one to HIA here, the Panthers. Was this a head slam? Let's have a look. Reynolds in over the top. Head slam. I mean, not intentional. This will be potentially Luke Garner called off by the independent doctor at some stage. As Edwards is taken high, and there's the first penalty of the game. I don't care what the ref said. We all just saw it on replay. It was unintentional, but it was a head slam. First penalty of the game goes to the Panthers. High contact on Dylan Edwards. They find touch 40 out from the Broncos line. Broncos had their opportunity down the other end. Shibasaki with the dropped ball. Kenny, infield, it goes for Smith. Smith, 20 meters out. Now the Panthers get a chance. Cleary shows it inside. Goes out for Edwards. Jamming in as Shibasaki makes the hit. 20 meters out. 3 tackles gone. Kenny goes down the short side. Cleary to Martin. Martin can't get the arms free. 2 tackles left. Cleary to Leota. Pops it up for Yo. Yo with the double pump out the back for Talangi. Talangi dummies. And he's tackled just a couple of meters out. 5th and last now. Kenny. The ball's intercepted by Reynolds. No, he knocks it on. 6 again. Cleary picks it back up and he's tackled a meter out. Oh, Reynolds going for the glory play. That would have tested the Hemi. Adam Reynolds getting those old legs pumping. Full set of 6 again now for the Panthers. 5 out in front of the post. Leota on the inside ball. Pressure now for the Broncos. Kenny. Right to Yo. Cleary inside ball for Martin. Martin from a standing start heads across field looking for a gap to open up. Bumps off Reynolds. Gives it back for Smith. Smith fends off Hunt. They're finding the small playmakers. 5 out still, halfway through the set. Kenny takes a couple of steps down the short side as numbers. Alamotti for the corner, scores. Paul Alamotti with the first try. Down the short side, they caught the Broncos napping. And you can't leave Paul Alamotti that amount of space. Mitch Kenny took a couple of steps to draw in Corey Pakes. Shibasaki's jamming in. And that left poor old Karapani on the outside with absolutely nothing to do about it. Paul Alamotti. Panthers up 4-0. Kick to come from out wide. And they've struck with their first opportunity. J-Joe, ahoy, mate. Paul Alamotti with the first try. Well, remember I said Katoni Staggs first, second, or third. So we're still on, basically. No need for alarm. We're still on. And it was Shibasaki there, racing in out of the defensive line. So plays, ahoy. Shibasaki out of the defensive line, racing up, misses the tackle, allowed the space for Alamotti on the outside of Karapani. Karapani was on a hiding to nothing there. That was all Shibasaki's defensive read. Nathan Cleary from bang on the sideline. Cleary blocking out the crowd noise, moves in, strikes it well, puts it down the middle. 6 points to 0. Panthers, what a start. Well, they survived the early onslaught from the Broncos. And they hit with their first opportunity. Captain Redbeard, you apologise for writing the Panthers off early in the season. It's all right, Captain Redbeard, you were not the only one. Lots of people were signalling the end of this Panthers dynasty. Except for me, of course. Round 12, they were bottom of the table. I said, don't count them out yet. People told me I was crazy. Not looking so crazy at the moment. 10 out from their own line from the kickoff. Here goes Leota. Will that just take the sting out of the Broncos a little bit? How do they respond to this? Isaiah Yeo rumbles it up, takes on Payne in the Haas. This is a big test of character now for the Broncos. We know that there's a big hoodoo around the Penrith Panthers. Oh, and now that's a slam to the ground from Corey Pakes. They've just got to be careful here with some of these tackles, the Broncos. They've just got to be a little careful. Fifth and last. Panthers on halfway. To Lungy. They're going to have a run here. Space for To'o. To'o chips over the top. It's going to bounce kindly here for McLean. McLean can't get the pass away. It goes into touch 10 metres out from the Broncos line. Oh, they're opening them up here. They are opening them up at will suddenly. Big pressure on the Broncos now. Running on the fifth and last. The Broncos will get the ball back here. 10 out from their own line. They've exerted so much energy in that opening 10 minutes. You just wonder how much they've got left in the tank for the back end of the half. 26 minutes to go in the opening 40. Panthers up 6-0. Jeffrey Kupu, ahoy, mate. From Papua New Guinea. Go Penrith Panthers. On you, Jeffrey. And PNG. Manuel Snow says Broncos is faders. There's a nice short ball there to Piakura. Almost opens them up. Hunt will kick from halfway. From dummy half. Sits it in behind the defense. To'o taps it down and runs it back. Brian To'o takes on Katoni Staggs. And, well, Katoni, he had a lot to say in the lead up to the match, but he's been pretty quiet in the opening 20. And that's what I was talking about, isn't it? You've got to be able to back it up on the field. Alamotti takes it inside the 40. Another good, strong carry. 2 tackles left here for the Panthers. So we're on a bit of a roll at the moment. Smith to Garner. Garner angling back in field. Taken down. 25 out. Just to the left of the post. 5th and last. Cleary. The crossfield kick. It's going to land about 5 out from the goal line. Carapani takes it. Look who's there to greet him. Liam Martin. Short side. Slow to get back with the Panthers. But Shibasaki takes it outside the red zone. Carapani slips into contact. The Broncos on their own 30. Slow play the ball. The Big D beats the first tackle. And he's brought down in midfield. Ed Vogel, ahoy mate. Penalty to the Broncos. A second effort in the tackle. Late in the tackle count. On their own 40. I don't think the home crowd had anything to do with that one. Broncos fine touch, 40 out from the Panthers line. The last time they had an attacking chance, they dropped the ball. All right, what's going on here? Oh, Isaiah Yo busted open. Blood gushing from the forehead of Isaiah Yo. I wonder what happened there. He's going to get that taped up. He'll be all good. He's a beast. Gozong Arisi says, go Panthers. Diehard PNG. 6-0 the Panthers lead. It's Broncos ball, though. 40 out from the line. Jordan Ricky. With a good, strong opening carry. Takes it up to the 30. 10 metres gained. Reynolds goes out the back for Hunt. Hunt delays the pass to Walsh. Walsh to Carapani. Carapani's read well by Alamotti. They now drive him to the sideline and over. Huge defense from the Panthers. Carapani gets taken over the sideline and it's Panthers ball on tackle 2. Moronic douchebaggery. Ahoy, mate. Moana. Ahoy. Peter says, go Broncos and Panthers. Peter from Lismore. Panthers repel another Broncos attacking raid. 6-0. 23 minutes to go in the opening half. Casey McLean up to the 40. Panthers on their own side of halfway. Garner only makes a couple of meters. The defense was up quickly on him. Halfway through the set. Smith at first receiver. Teo at the back for Cleary. Numbers to the right again here. Edwards to Tungo. Tungo decides to hold on. Tackle 4 just inside Broncos territory. Edwards gets in the way of the play there. Yo in midfield to Talangi. The goose step. Gets away from Reynolds. Reynolds comes back at him with the help of Ricky. 5th and last, 40 out. For Cleary to kick back down the short side. Walsh comes forward for it. It's allowed to bounce. And Walsh scoops it up. 12 out from his own line. Loose ball on the deck. Always risky. Who's this back here? The Big D. 22 minutes left in the opening half. Panthers up 6-0. Carapani stepping back on the inside. Can't break through. Moana says if Cleary and the Panthers make it to the final and win, does Cleary come back into the New South Wales halfback conversation for 26, even though he's poor performance? Maybe we'll talk about that at halftime. 5th and last here for the Broncos. Reynolds from inside the 40. He's got a good angle on this, Reynolds. Great angle on it, but To'o is back. To'o had dropped back. And he charges into Katoni Staggs, bumps him off. It's Tyson Smoothy who makes the hit. McLean, just short of the 40. A quarter of the way through this contest. And it's the Panthers on top at the moment. Rolling upfield now. Cleary, dummies. Well read by Corey Pakes. 40 out from the line, play 4. Leota on the crash ball. 5th and last. 30 out. Cleary's going to stay down the short side here. Dinks it in over the top for Martin and Tungo to chase. Tungo bats it back. It's loose on the ground. Was it lost forward by Walsh? No. Lost forward by Tungo. And that'll be a handover. Broncos ball. Walsh was out jumped here by Tungo, who loses it forward. Hand over to the Broncos, who are still just pinned down in their own territory. No penalties will be the order of the day here for the Panthers. Pain in the Haas. Good run by Haas, but equally good defense there. Lindsay Smith wrapping the ball up. Haas can't get that offload away. Walsh now dummies and loses it. Rocks and diamonds. Reese is providing rocks tonight so far. Knocking the ball on. Panthers will go on the attack. 30 out. Nathan Cleary with the hit. Rocks and diamonds. Reese in full swing. Now, a massive, massive moment in the context of this game. 40 metres out, midfield scrum. Panthers to go on the attack. To'o. 1 out from the scrum. Back into midfield for Lindsay Smith. Charging towards the Broncos' red zone. 25 out. Here's Leota. Straight up the guts. Moses Leota. 15 metres out from the line. Halfway through the set. Cleary wants it on the left. Steps back in field. Gives it to Yo. Yo with the settler in front of the posts. Kenny takes a few steps to the right. Oh, Cleary's had his head knocked off. The mouthguard goes flying. And I don't mean it was a high tackle. I mean, it just rattled him. Low in the tackle. Kick through. In behind. Sits up for Garner. But Jordan Ricky wins the chase to the ball. Nathan Cleary's mouthguard just went flying out. He steps back on the inside and tries to duck and shoulder to the side of the head. Oh boy, wouldn't this be massive if Nathan Cleary gets called off for a HIA. Short restart here, goes out on the full. And it'll be Broncos ball right in front, or they can have it 5 metres in from touch. Edwards at first receiver. The pressure stays on the Broncos. Alamotti with the first try. They want another one here. Inside ball for Garner. Garner, 5 out. Yo at first receiver in front of the post to Cleary. Edwards goes out the back for Tungo. Tungo heads for the sideline. Shibasaki makes the hit. Over on that far right touch. It's a loose pass. Sits up nicely, though, for Papali'i. They get away with that, the Panthers. 4 tackles down. Cleary goes out the back for Talungi. Dummies the kick. Spins back in field. 5th and last. Broncos defense has all the answers at the moment. Cleary. Grubber in behind the line for Liam Martin to chase. Reece Walsh gets back in the field of play somehow. Half a metre out from their own line here, the Broncos. Shibasaki with a good charge. Takes it up to the 10. Looks for a quick play the ball. Short side. Karapani with some good footwork. Brings it up outside the 20 on play 3. This is good go forward from the Broncos. Should have been a goal line dropout. But they've ended up with the ball. Tackle 4, 30 out. Reynolds, dummies. 5th and last. It's going to take a big kick now. Goes to Ben Hunt. Hunt steps outside the 40. And he does get it in behind Alamotti. Alamotti dives in the outfield for it. Takes the catch on the boundary. And brings it back to the 20. That's a great set from the Broncos. They started literally on their own goal line. Reece Walsh somehow stays in the field of play. And that was a monstrous set of 6, all things considering. They had no right to end up where they were as the Panthers now come up with a mistake. Brian To'o spills it. What a turning point this could be. That huge set of 6. And now the Broncos can go on the attack. 0 tackle. 25 metres out. Xavier Willison with his first carry. Takes it to within 10. Oh, what a huge momentum shift this would be. Reynolds out the back for Walsh. Cut out pass intercepted. Casey McLean's going to go the length of the field. Walsh with the intercept pass. Casey McLean scores. What a backbreaker. Oh, it's a penalty. They're offside. The Panthers are offside. It's come back for a penalty. Nobody heard the whistle. Nobody hears the whistle. The referee's called it back. "15 minutes to go in the first half. Tyson Smoothy's left the field for Xavier Willison, I guess. Here they go again now. Hetherington. 5 metres out from the line. Takes, goes back down the short side. They've lost it on tackle 1. Xavier Willison with the dropped ball. So early in the tackle count to come up with a mistake. That's pressure. Oh, the Broncos, every time they've been down here with an attacking chance, they come up with an error. Shibasaki, Reece Walsh. Yes, they came back for the penalty for the offside, but he threw the intercept pass. Now, Xavier Willison with the dropped ball. Panthers get the turnover, 10 out in front of the post. Oh, so many missed opportunities for the Broncos. But on the plus side, they're creating them. I mean, you've got to look at the positives, right? They're creating the chances, at least. Alamotti's dumped 15 metres out from their own line here. Martin targets Ben Hunt. They're trying to hide Hunt away out in the centres. Kenny with the double pump to Papali'i. Papali'i heads back down the short side. 35 metres out from their own line here, the Panthers. Tungo ducks into the defence, just short of halfway. On play 4. Edwards. On to Yo. They're going to go through the hands here. Smith takes it into Broncos territory. 5th and last. Cleary from 40 out. Kicking for Karapani's edge again. Alamotti, the only kick chaser, as Karapani surrenders in the tackle eventually. 15 out from their own line here, the Broncos. They've been turned away again off the back of their own mistake. 14 minutes to go until the break. Walsh shuffles it on to the big D. Met hard in the tackle by Casey McLean. Halfway through this set, they're still inside their own 20. Staggs breaks his first tackle of the night. Tries to milk a penalty. Walsh will kick very early here on play 4. Angles it towards the touchline. Reece Walsh. Edwards keeps it in field somehow. Oh, Dylan Edwards has pulled off a miracle there, but what a kick from Reece Walsh. They're ending up in field position they have no right to be in, the Broncos. Huge effort, though, from Dylan Edwards to keep that in the field of play. That would have been Broncos ball and back on the attack. Alamotti now up to the halfway line. Spins. Takes it into Broncos territory. Charging onto it. Liam Henry's on the field. With 12 minutes to go till the halftime break, I would dare say that the Panthers have used their interchange much earlier than they would have wanted to. Cleary kicks down the short side again for Karapani. Karapani takes it, but there's an escort penalty here against the Broncos. Escort Jones. The Panthers Take the 2, surely. Oh, they're going to go for it, the Panthers. They're going in for the kill. Oh, I would have taken the 2. It's a big game. I would have taken the 2. Here's Yo at the back to Cleary. Inside ball for Garner. Oh, geez. Third man in there. Willison. Jeez. Oh, that's nasty. Xavier Willison, I think it was. Third man in. Has just chopped the legs of Luke Garner. Oh, that's nasty. Xavier. Dear, oh dear. That is the brain fart of all brain farts. Now, this one's a lot closer to the posts. I'll take the 2 this time, surely. This is an absolute gift. Yes, they are going to have the shot. Oh, Xavier Willison, what was he thinking? Third man in, diving at the knees. No, not even attempting anything other than to take his knees out. And Nathan Cleary is stepping up to take the shot at 2 points. The Panthers need this. They need this little buffer. They've been dominating territory and possession. A 6-point lead is nowhere near enough. Now, 20 metres out, 10 to the left of the posts. Should be a relatively simple one unless he's got his Origin boots on. Nathan puts it down the middle. No Origin boots tonight for Cleary. And the Panthers lead the prelim 8 points to 0. Oh. Points are at a premium, Jonathan Manson. That's it. Oh, Chris Bradley, I think the statistic behind that is if you take 2 points to open the scoring. I know exactly the stat you're talking about, Chris. I think that is if you take the 2 to start the scoring. Teams that go up 2-0 inevitably go on and lose. Play the balls inside the opposition 20, 16 to the Panthers. Martin gets away from Hunt. Shibasaki looks to rip the ball out. Martin holds on. Yo, angling back in towards Shibasaki. Taken down, 40 out from their own line here. Edwards. 5th and last, just short of halfway. A must win, a must for the Broncos to win this game so that the Storm can easily run over them. Very nice. I like that. Karapani takes the high ball, trying to find some space in the defense. And the Broncos will start this set 20 out from their own line. Probably the best field position they've had in a while from kick return. 9 minutes to go in the opening half. Stags, well contained again. Willison beats the first tackle. Tackle 4. They're outside their own 40 here, the Broncos. Short ball to Haas. Haas almost opens them up, but he's taken on halfway. Ezra Mam's on the field. As Reynolds kicks for the corner. To'o's under it. To'o says, mine, and he takes it. Great kick chase from Jordan Ricky. And the Panthers are now pinned down inside their own 10 with a tough set to get through here. Edwards. Ezra Mam's on. Let's see how he goes. Corey Pakes off. Ben Hunt will shift into hooker. Ezra Mam will be on at 6. As Madge trying to inject some variety into the attack here. Henry just short of halfway there on the 5th and last. It was a good set of 6 for the Panthers. Cleary gets the kick away. Walsh moves forward, takes it on the fall, and this is good field position. Walsh gets away from Martin, and he's taken down 45 out, just short of the halfway line. Easily the Broncos' best field position in a long, long time. 6 again. Shibasaki taken on halfway. Mam's actually gone in at hooker at the moment, it seems. Well, he was for that play, the ball anyway. Here's Ben Hunt. Normal business has resumed. Reynolds outside to Hetherington. Rocky, 1-1-3-3-3. Ahoy, mate. Reynolds in midfield. Onto Willison. Spins in the tackle of Martin. Martin wraps the ball up. Cleary and Yo in there to help out. That's play 4. Down the short side for Walsh. Flat pass there to Piakura, who's now trying to milk the penalty. Referee blows time off here for him to compose himself. Fifth and last for the Broncos here. 15 out. Reynolds with the crossfield kick. Lands this one perfectly. Casey McLean loses it. Sits up for the Broncos. Heading for the corner is the Big D. And that'll be a handover as he goes to ground. 5 out, just in from the touchline. Panthers repel the attack again. 6 minutes 50 to go until halftime. Panthers up 8-0. Six minutes 40 to go, as I said, in the first half. And seems like the Broncos have just got the momentum at the moment, this little phase of the play. This back end of the half, they're keeping the Panthers down their own end. Here's Alamotti. Turns in the tackle. No thought of an offload. Edwards at first receiver. Short ball for Papali'i. Well read by the Broncos defense. Papali'i's dragged down on play 4. Just short of halfway. Kenny back down the short side for Cleary. Out the back to Talangi. Numbers here for To'o. Steps back in field. To'o beats 1, beats 2, beats a 3rd. He's heading sideways though, To'o, and a penalty to the Panthers. High contact on Brian To'o. Penalty to Penrith. And at 8-0 up, 10-0 doesn't serve a whole lot of purpose. They'll put this into the corner and go. And it's the Broncos centers being caught out in defense again. Jamming in unnecessarily. Cleary finds touch, 25 out. Reece Walsh needs some of that toilet water at halftime. Inside ball for Tongo. Panthers, 25 out in midfield. Henry beats 1. Gets to within 10. Right in front of the post here, the Panthers. Kenny goes left. Yo onto Cleary. Quick hands now. Papali'i. Talangi to McLean. Draws them in. Gives it to To'o. To'o ducks back in field and he's brought to ground. 5 out from the line. Broncos holding on here. Halfway through the set. Yo with a settler up the middle. 10 meters out in midfield. Tackle 4. Kenny fires it to the right. Cleary to Edwards. Numbers again. Alamotti for the corner. Steps back in field. Jumps over the top of Walsh and scores his second. Paul Alamotti. Panthers up 12-0 with the kick to come. Penrith went in for the kill. Paul Alamotti gets a double. The Broncos defense jamming in again. Not trusting the inside man. You've got to trust your defense to slide. Shibasaki a mile out of position. A mile out of position. It left Karapani no choice. Oh, Shibasaki's having a shocker. Shibasaki couldn't have sucked this badly at Origin. 3.5 minutes to go till the halftime break. And the Panthers score in those mythical championship minutes. The ones that don't exist, apparently. $12 points to 0. The kick to come. Alamotti runs it around a little closer to the posts. Manuel Snow, you're winning your bet. Broncos is not responding. Easy, easy money. Cleary takes the ball back to the 20-meter line. He's about 15 in from touch. This is not an easy kick by any stretch of the imagination, but they do have that little buffer of the penalty goal from earlier. But boy, he'd want to put this one over. Oh, and he does. The Iceman, Nathan Cleary, puts it down the middle. Panthers up 14 points to 0. Halftime approaches. The Broncos will get at least one more set of 6 here before the break. $14 points to 0. Keyboard Warrior, ahoy mate, you still need a To'o try? I need a To'o try, a Stags try, a Karapani try, a Cleary try, and they've lost it on play 1 here, the Panthers. Here's an opportunity now for the Broncos to hit straight back before the break. Big opportunity. Hetherington takes it to within 10 on tackle 1. Oh, they have to take this opportunity, the Broncos. It's non-negotiable at this point. Non-negotiable that they score here. Right before the break, they'll take all the momentum into halftime. Reynolds, short ball for Willison. Willison, 5 meters out, stands in the 3-man tackle, the big beast. Halfway through the set, and the Broncos haven't really fired a shot yet. Here's Payne in the Haas. Ball's wrapped up by Isaiah Yeo. Tackle 4. Ben Hunt's got his arms out like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Reynolds holds the pass up for Willison, 5th and last. Walsh wanted the kick through. Hunt goes down the short side. The crash ball for Haas. Haas is close, and he's tackled half a meter out. Oh, they've butchered it, the Broncos. They've butchered it. Too many chefs. Too many chefs. Hunt, Reynolds, Mam, Walsh. Poor Benny Hunt didn't know who to pass it to from dummy half. Too many chefs. We talk about it all the time. The Broncos didn't start performing until injury forced them into having only one playmaker. Now they've got 3 or 4 playmakers back again. They looked, honestly, completely clueless on attack there. Headless. Edwards to Cleary. They're going to run here, the Panthers. Tungo takes on Shibasaki. Mam's in over the top. 5th and last. On halfway, inside the last minute. Cleary puts the ball high. Oh, McLean's been escorted there by the referee. And they're going to counter-attack here. The Big D tries to find a little bit of space with 40 seconds to go in this opening half. Katoni Staggs, his best carry of the day so far. Hunt at first receiver now. Calls runners on the inside. It's Payne Haas. Haas straightens. Can't get the arms free. They're wrapping that ball up. Payne Haas does not have a single offload yet today. The Panthers have done a number on him. Here's Mam now at first receiver this time. To Hetherington. Johnny Michael. Ahoy, mate. Mam with front foot ball. Steps back in field and he's taken down. 5th and last. Gets the play the ball away. Walsh. Sent it to Shibasaki. Shibasaki angles back in. Gets it away to Karapani. Karapani grubbers through. Straight to Dylan Edwards. And that's the halftime break. The Broncos, with all these playmakers out there, look pretty clueless on attack. And that is halftime, 14 points to 0. The Panthers at Suncorp. Half the job is done. 2 tries to Paul Alamotti, both converted, and a penalty goal. And there, Ben Hunt and Reynolds having a conversation. Hunt's just throwing his hands up. Like, what? What do we do? We've got no idea what we're doing. They rushed these guys back from injury, and it's just completely thrown a spanner into the works of their attack. DJ Shack, go away, mate. 14 points to nil at the halftime break. Panthers on top. But remember, Scott Sorensen, HIA in the first 2 minutes. They're down a player. They're down an interchange. Rapetti, Halvel. Broncos are missing Klein. I'm sorry, but I love it. That's hilarious. ARW, ahoy, mate. Said it before, I'll say it again. Carrigan, low-key, more important than Haas. You definitely have said that before. DJ Shack says, it's honestly amazing how much disrespect the Panthers were given in the lead up to this game. I talked about it in the pregame as well, DJ Shack. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Pearson, Polina, Panthers from Papua New Guinea. Queen says, go, Tango, To'o, Talangi. Oh, 7,895 subscribers. Can we possibly get to the 7,900 mark this stream? There's only 5 to go. Wasted Water Sports crew, if you're hanging out with us here today, it's your first time, and you enjoy hanging out for our alternative commentary and just general chit-chat about the game, do feel free to give the stream a like and subscribe. Let's see if we can get to that 7,900 mark here today. So close. Only 5 people away. 7,900 subscribers. Oh, excuse me. Mafia 675 official. Hello from Papua New Guinea. Ahoy there. Mafia 675 official. Ed Vogel says, rate both teams' performance. Panthers, some unexpected errors. I mean, that dropped ball on tackle 1. A minute and a half to go till the halftime break. They had just scored a try to open up a 14-point lead. They don't normally make those mistakes. Brian To'o's dropped the ball, running out of territory on about play 3. These are mistakes they don't normally make. So the Panthers have been far from perfect. The Panthers are just playing simple, grinding, suffocating finals football. And the Broncos just, whilst their defense for the most part is holding up overall, it's in the centers where they've had problems. Katoni Staggs and Shibasaki on either side of the field have been guilty of jamming in so far that it's left their wingers with 2-on-1, 3-on-1 situations. And we saw it at the very back end there. The Broncos were presented that gift, absolute gift from the Panthers there on the stroke of halftime. Is it just so hot in Brisbane today? I've got my aircon now. I'm turning my aircon down to 18 degrees now, and I still feel like I'm in a furnace. Like, I understand that I've got a lot of technology around, and computers and TV screens and monitors and everything give off heat. I understand how it all works, but geez, it is a scorcher today. But anyway, Fat Bloke 48, ahoy there, mate, over there on Twitch. So yeah, the Panthers have been making unexpected mistakes. They've been far from perfect, so you can't give the Panthers a 10 at all. Panthers are probably a 6 or a 7, maybe. 7's probably being generous. I would give their first half maybe a 6, personally, and I know that the Panthers set a very high standard for themselves. They'll probably view it as a 6 as well. And the Broncos, honestly, I mean, 5 would be generous, right? It's not that they've been particularly shocking. It's just the Panthers have, for the most part, just done the basics right. Suffocating, grinding finals footy. And they've done it more right than their opposition. Broncos had a breeze in the first half as well. Reece Walsh nearly pulled off an absolute miracle 40 40-20. He kicked the ball from inside his own 30, and it nearly went over the 20-meter line into touch, were it not for the amazing effort of Dylan Edwards. So they haven't taken advantage of that breeze. Honestly, with a breeze at their back, I don't understand why Adam Reynolds was doing all the kicking. Reece Walsh was kicking the ever-living bollocks off the ball. Give it to him, use that breeze, get it in behind the Panthers wingers. Who cares if once or twice he kicks it so far it goes dead? Back your defense to hold off a 7-tackle set. The Panthers weren't really firing any shots anyway. Why was Reece Walsh not doing the kicking? So that'd be a question I ask. The Broncos' attack was pretty much summed up. The Panthers made that mistake with a minute and a half to go from the kickoff, presented the Broncos a red-hot opportunity. There was a play of the ball where Ben Hunt was running to hooker, and you saw him just go like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I haven't, almost as if he hadn't had a play called. Who am I going to give this to? He visibly put his arms up and shrugged as he was running into position. Like, what are we doing here? This was a gift set of 6 that was given to them in the red zone right before halftime to negate a try immediately that the Panthers had just scored. And you've got Ben Hunt running to hooker, throwing his arms up. Like, I don't know what to do. And then the very next play, Walsh was standing outside Reynolds and pointing, kick through, kick through, kick through. Walsh chases through for a kick that never came. Reynolds goes short to Willison. Willison gets tackled 5 out in front of the sticks. It's just been, too many chefs in the kitchen. Look, they rushed these guys back. They were playing better without them. Let's be honest. I raised the question in the pregame, does Adam Reynolds have, like, psychological damage in games to get the I'm not even trying to be funny. The Panthers have so badly damaged this man. When he played for Souths, now he's come over and played for the Broncos. The Panthers have just psychologically ruined Adam Reynolds. I don't understand why they rushed him back. They were doing better without him. Ezra Mam, why? Why rush him back? They were doing better without these guys. I understand Billy Walters got injured. Anyway. Unbelievable. 14 points to 0 at the halftime break. They'll be right. Get Reece Walsh some toilet water at the break. We'll see what can happen in the second half. Maybe the breeze here at Suncorp was a little bit of a curse. Who knows? The Broncos had the breeze at their back in the first half. Maybe that did something to them. ARW says Broncos played their best foot. Oh, hang on. We'll come back to that chat because Keyboard Warrior with the $8.99 New Zealand Super Chat. Up the Panthers. Thanks, Dan, for the commentary. You do a top job, brother. Keep up the good work. It's greatly appreciated. I will tell you, Keyboard Warrior, what's greatly appreciated. You, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the donation and the kind words. Keyboard Warrior, as we always say here on the Wasted World of Sports, thank you so much for the support. Your support is appreciated. Very much appreciated, but certainly not expected. Cheers. Raven187, ahoy. Yeah, so Reese will go smash some toilet water. Thank you so much also, everyone, for the 7,900 subscribers. Very much appreciate that as well. Scorpio69 says, yep, I agree about Reynolds and Ezra, but my prediction, Panthers to win by 15 plus, is looking good so far. I'll tell you what, I made a post on my Facebook. I put this post up on my Facebook. Honestly, like, I truly believed this, but I was also just being a little bit of a smartass at the same time, believe it or not. I put this post up, a bet that I made. So I put money on the Penrith Panthers at minus 10.5. and I made a post on my Facebook. I said, I love it when bookies give away free money. Thanks, Sportsbet. Penrith Panthers minus 10.5 was paying $3 to the dollar. Insane, right? Insane. Now, I always make my stuff public. I don't hide behind a locked profile when I do stuff like this. I don't mind the banter. So I had somebody pop on and say, looking forward to commenting on this post around 6 p.m. Sunday if it's still up. I wonder if that person will come back again. Not looking good at the moment. Howard Rose, ahoy, mates. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from everyone in Blackpool, near Manchester. Very nice. You know, I'm familiar with some. I'm familiar with some of the English, like, what do you call it, towns, regions. I'm familiar with some of them because we have a fair few channel members from over in England and Europe in general, but also because of Red Dwarf, one of my all-time favorite shows. All right, I'm going to have a quick break here for halftime. Panthers are up 14 points to 0. My actual bets aren't doing too well. As you can see, my same game multi there. And also, well, Tony Staggs needs to be the next one to score, or that bet's gone. And I'm still holding out hope for Mitch Kenny. First try scorer, Jasper, was Paul Alamotti. All right, I'm going to have a quick break. I'll check on the dog. And I'll have a toilet break. I'm not going to drink any of the water. It's all good. I'll leave that to Reese. And we'll be back for the second half here on the Waste of World of Sports. Thanks for being with us. Do feel free to like and subscribe if you're enjoying hanging out with us here. Because liking and subscribing, I think, is pretty hardcore.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
Be right back. Second half after the break. Oh, the Melbourne Storm await. The Melbourne Storm patiently await the winner of this one. 14 points to 0 at the halftime break. Can the Broncos hit back? They had no answers in the first half. They will get first use of the ball. That's why it was so huge, right? That moment before halftime. because the Broncos were going to get first use of it in the second half. Imagine 14-6 Broncos with first use and all the momentum. Could have been a completely different feel coming into the second half here. Ricky brings it outside the 20. Broncos with first use in the second half. Haas. Ball's wrapped up again. They've done a number on Payne and the Haas today. Panthers will have the breeze here in the second half. Hetherington taken down. Tackle 4. Just short of halfway. Payne Haas goes again. Haas winds up. That's a good carry. But the ball's wrapped up again. They put him on his back. Fifth and last now. Just inside the Panthers half. Hunt down the short side for Reynolds. Reynolds puts the kick up. High into that breeze. Edwards waits for it. Takes it. And Dylan Edwards runs at Ezra Mam. Slips into contact. And the Panthers start their set 15 out from their own line. The Broncos starting with some intensity here in the second half. Whoa, I hate to state the obvious, but you would think they have to be the first to score. And hopefully for my bets, it's Katoni Staggs, right? Isaiah Papali'i winds up. Takes it up to the 40. That was a good run. Tungo now goes from dummy half. Short ball for Henry. Henry bumps off Hetherington, but he's spun down by Piacorta. Fifth and last. Just over the halfway line. Talangi wants it down the short side. Chips in over the top. Back in field. It's allowed to bounce. It sits up nicely for Walsh at the back. Walsh is taken by Cleary and the chasing Luke Garner. Broncos again will start a set on their own 10. Cleary wraps up the big D. Joe Goy Alex says go Broncos. Parkop Kanawi says Panthers hold them out. 40 minutes away from another grand final. 6 grand finals in a row, isn't it? Would you believe? Tackle 4 for the Broncos here on their own 30. Payne Haas onto Reynolds. They're going to go through the hands here. Walsh tries to bend the line. He's taken down by Talangi. Fifth and last. Quick play of the ball. Jordan Ricky, it's the fifth, mate. Gets the pass away back for Walsh. Reynolds now, Grubbers in behind. Needs this one to bounce up. Edwards comes forward for it. Gives it to Alamotti. Panic stations there from the Broncos. Jordan Ricky going on a dart from dummy half on fifth and last. Madge's heart must have been escaping from his mouth at that moment. Holy hell. Panthers in good field position now at the back of that. To'o up over halfway. Beats Reynolds. Taken down 40 out. Oh, this could be the killer blow. Cleary. Inside ball. Henry taken down 35. Right in front of the post. 2 tackles left. Edwards. Lurking out the back. Cleary goes left for Papali'i though. Fifth and last. Staying on the short side now. Cleary dinks it in over the top. Chasing through. Pressure on Walsh. Walsh takes it. Garner wraps him up. 5 meters out from their own line here, the Broncos. Appealing for a penalty for some reason. Oh, they've lost it on play 1. Panthers come away with it. Counter-attack is on. Alamotti gets away from the defence. Heads for the corner. Paul Alamotti stepping back in field. Can't quite get there. Takes it back to the 10-metre line. Oh, what a huge mistake from the big D, Dane Mariner. Here come the Panthers now. A full set of 6, 10 out. Papali'i wraps around Edwards. Back inside for McLean. 10 out from the line still. Panthers plotting. Cleary. Back down the short side. Crash ball for Papali'i. They're a metre out. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Kenny to the short side again for Cleary. Dancing, dummying. Fires it infield for Yo. And Isaiah Yo will just settle it down here in midfield. Halfway through the set, you feel that the back-breaking blow is coming up now. Kenny, short ball for Henry. Henry ducks under the tackle of Willison. Hetherington comes at him. They're a metre out. Kenny goes out the back for Talangi. Loose pass, scooped up well by To'o, but that breaks the play down. To'o heads back in field. Fifth and last, 10 metres out. Down the short side, Cleary, dummies, takes the line on, and he's tackled half a metre out. Good defence from the Broncos. Crucial Crucial defense. Half a metre out from their own line. Handover. Under the pump. Oh, high contact penalty here to the Broncos. No. Oh, no call. There it is. Yeah, that one was pretty blatant. The bunker intervened. And a nice little piggyback now upfield for the Broncos. That one was as blatant as it gets. Reynolds into the breeze. Gets a good touch on this. Broncos will start the set 40 out from their own line. Jeffrey Wang says this is going to be the Panthers' 5th in a row. The Broncos need to find some answers. Payne in the Haas. Bends the line. Takes it up over halfway. Hetherington to Mam. Goes out the back for Walsh. Walsh steps off the left. Gets the late offload away for Shibasaki. Shibasaki takes it to the 30. Edwards looks to rip the ball away, but there's 3 in the tackle, mate. 6 again for the Broncos. Here's their opportunity. Well, another opportunity. They've had many of them. Willison tackled 20 out from the line. Haas plays out the back for Reynolds. Reynolds is wrapped up. Still 20 metres out. Hetherington at first receiver. On to Haas. Haas bends the line. Breaks away from Liam Martin. Taken down 5 out from the line. Payne Haas with his best run of the game so far. Coming to life. Willison takes it out the back of shape from Hetherington. This is it now for the Broncos. Hunt, dummies, short side. Goes back open side for Reynolds to kick in behind for Staggs. Katoni Staggs scores. 3rd try scorer. That's a hit on that bet. Katoni Staggs, 1st, 2nd or 3rd try scorer. And it's our first tick off the multi at last. Katoni Staggs. The Broncos have finally broken down this Panthers defense. It has taken them 47 minutes. And they have finally opened them up. Reynolds with the grubber kick through for Staggs. Oh boy, now the Broncos will start to believe. The crowd will come to life and get behind them. It's been off the back of Payne in the Haas with his best 7 minutes of the game so far. $14-4, and whether it's Walsh or Reynolds doing the goal kicking, this is a simple one from right beside the posts. Katoni Staggs gets the hit, 1st, 2nd or 3rd try. And it's Reece Walsh doing the goal kicking. 14-4, kick to come from right in front. Oh, he's nearly fluffed it. Just sneaks it in. But importantly, it goes over 14-6. Game on now. Game on. We talk about rocks and diamonds. Reece, he's definitely been rocks tonight. Or today, rather. Definitely been rocks. Even that kick, it only just snuck in. John Michael, we love surprises. Especially surprises that are hardcore. As Edwards gets this back underway, deep kickoff. Very deep kickoff. Haas will take the hit up. Payne Haas has had a huge past 6 minutes. 14-6. Oh, poor Scotty Sorensen there on the sideline. Staggs now with a good carry. Staggs and Haas have really come to life here in the second half. Hetherington, dummies, takes the line on. That's play 4. 40 out from their own line, the Broncos. Here goes Haas again with another carry. Out the back to Walsh. Flat pass there to Piacora. Fifth and last, just inside the Panthers' territory. Short side for Walsh to put it high. That's a great kick. Pressure on Edwards as Mam chases through. Mam puts the pressure on, but Edwards claims it. Dylan Edwards. What a big moment. The Panthers looking a little gassed here. The Broncos starting to lift. The Panthers have just hit this plateau. Remember, they're a substitute down. Scott Sorensen failing a HI. Well, Scott Sorensen got a Category 1, so he's ruled out for the game. He passed his HIA, but he's ruled out of the game. Category 1. They're down a forward, the Panthers. And that will really start to hurt them at the back end of the game. Liam Henry takes it up to halfway on fifth and last. Short side for Cleary to go high. The Breeze picks it up, and it lands 5 meters out from the line. Karapani takes on Liam Martin. Down the short side. Shibasaki. Starting the second half a bit better than the first half. Oh, Shibasaki. The big D, Dane Mariner. Halfway through the set, the Broncos are flying at the moment. Hunt kicks from inside the 40, looking for a 40-20, and he just misses out. He's just missed out, Ben Hunt. Millimeters in it. What a kick. Benjamin Hunt. Catching them napping over on that far side. And the Panthers look out on their feet. Brian To'o now trying to get some go forward. They need some fresh legs out there, the Panthers. Delungi down the short side. Catches them napping. Loses the ball. Broncos come away with it. Here's Walsh now on the counter-attack. Steps off the left and he's chopped in half by Moses Leota and Nathan Cleary. 0 tackle. 14 points to 6. Here comes the home side. The Panthers have invited them in. 6 again. Hunt to Haas. Haas with another strong carry. 30 meters out from the line in midfield. Reynolds. On to Hetherington. Slips. Makes him an easy target. That's tackle 2. Another slow play of the ball. Down the short side for Mam. Dummies. Not really running with any authority there. Ezra spills the ball. Penalty goes to the Broncos. Odd Poppert, ahoy mate. They're going to take the 2 here, the Broncos, by the looks of it. Are they? Oh, no. It's just the playmakers getting together and having a chat. 14 points to 6. 27 minutes remaining. The Panthers running out of steam. The Broncos tap and go. Hunt onto Talty. Ben Talty takes the tackle 10 meters out. Reynolds out to the right, gives it inside to Ricky. Put on his back, 10 meters out. Slow play the ball. Oh, Garner's hurt by the looks of it. Hurt his shoulder. Mam, dummies, brought to ground by Cleary. The Panthers are down a defender. Luke Garner has only got one shoulder at the moment. Have they noticed it? No, because Hetherington takes it up the middle. 2 tackles left. Hunt to the right for Haas. Haas straightens. Now he gives it out further to Reynolds. Reynolds inside for Walsh. Walsh now tracking backwards. Walsh now straightens. Slips into contact on play 4. 5th and last. 10 meters out. Mam wants it on the left. Huge cutout pass to Shibasaki. Shibasaki can't get the ball free. That's a handover. Brilliant defense from the Panthers. 26 minutes to play. 8 points the difference. Leota. Alamotti. My bad. 10 meters out from their own line. They are absolutely out of gas here, the Panthers. To'o ducks into contact, but he's driven back in the tackle. That's the second. Talangi. Again, he bends the line. Payne Haas holds on, but a good carry from Blaze. Edwards goes down the short side for McLean. McLean up towards halfway. That's tackle 4. Edwards fires it over to Cleary in midfield. Cleary onto Leota. Leota to Martin. Martin bumps off Shibasaki. Shibasaki comes back at him. What a carry from Liam Martin, though. 5th and last, 40 metres out. Ezra Mam giving Liam Martin a working over with the elbow. Cleary down the short side. Taken out after the kick. It's been cleared by Atkins. Walsh takes it, and he's hit by Tungo. Gets up and goes again. There's a brouhaha on him. Back play. Ezra Mam. It's play on, though. Walsh still going. Walsh surrenders in the tackle, 40 out. And somebody's going to go here, I think. Payne Haas bleeding out the eye. Ezra Mam and Nathan Cleary got into it in back play. The contact on Cleary, and then he gave him a shove after. Well, that's silly from Ezra. Ezra Mam and Liam Martin might be having to sit down here. Ezra, a shove to the face. Another push in the back. Liam Martin takes offense to it. Wipes out Ezra from behind. And it should be a penalty against Ezra Mam for starting the kerfuffle. Oh, the penalty goes to the Broncos. Oh, I forgot it's at Suncorp. Remember, that was a penalty against Hudson Young a couple of weeks ago. After Reece Walsh headbutted him, but Hudson Young got penalised for starting the kerfuffle. Penalty goes to the Broncos. Reynolds finds touch. 40 out from the Panthers line. 14 points to 6. 24 and a half to go. Shibasaki with the first carry. 30 metres out. Reynolds inside to Haas. Haas finds space. Haas bends the line. Can't get the offload away. 20 out from the line. Into midfield. Gaps starting to appear here for the Panthers. Mam. Gone to ground in midfield. 20 out. Hunt sends it to the left for Talty. Talty from a standing start. Play 4. 10 metres out. Broncos are dominating this second half. Cut out pass for Mam. Fires it over. And the kick from Mariner goes out on the fall into touch. Penrith hold on again. 16 points to 4. 23 and a half minutes remaining. The Broncos, though, they've come to life. The Panthers are out on their feet. To'o tries to get them some go forward. They are just clinging on here, the Panthers. McLean heads into midfield. Haas holds him up. Talty around the legs. Slow play the ball. The players are tangled up. They need a penalty here. The Panthers, Tungo stepping back in field. Kenny to Edwards. Edwards up to halfway. Spins in the tackle. Takes it into Broncos territory on play 4. Kenny finds space around the ruck. Beats one. Fends off another. 30 metres out from the line. Loses the ball. Mitch Kenny loses it on the 5th and last. Oh, they need a penalty here, the Panthers. They need some momentum. Do they challenge? They are going to challenge. Oh, it's a risk, but they need it, the Panthers. They're out on their feet. They need a call to go their way. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. Captains challenge the call of knock on. Mitch Kenny backs into the defense, falls to ground and loses it. This will be an unsuccessful challenge. The Panthers, signs of desperation. They need a call to go their way. I don't think it's going to be this one. Unsuccessful challenge. That is the first sign of desperation here from this Panthers team, who still lead by 8. But it's the Broncos who have all the momentum, well on top. Broncos ball. The first signs of panic. Broncos scrum on their own 30. Here they go to the left. Karapani. They're bending the line with every run now, as the Panthers are just completely out of steam. They're holding on for dear life. Tackle 2, just short of halfway. The Broncos full of running. Ben Talty into Panthers territory. Short side for Mam. Steps off the left. Beats Liam Martin. Yo, wraps him up. 30 out from the line now. Play 4. Talty onto Payne in the Haas. Dummies. Haas wrapped up well. 5th and last. 25 out in midfield. Here come the Broncos. Reynolds wants it over on the right. Chips over the top. To'o takes it well. Panthers ball 5 out from their own line. McLean bumps off Ben Hunt. Taken by Hetherington. Edwards at first receiver. Good carry from Dylan. 25 out on play 3. Their own end of the field. Alamotti now winding up. 15 metres there from Alamotti on play 4. Back into midfield for Smith. Smith, dummies. Goes to ground just short of halfway. 5th and last. Back to Cleary. Cleary from 45, his own side of halfway, puts it high into that, with that breeze, rather. Walsh takes it, gives it off to the big D, and Marita. 25 metres out from their own line. Broncos ball, play 1. 20 minutes to go. They bring it down this left edge. Oh, careful there, Liam. 3rd man in, attacking the legs. He's hurt himself, Liam Martin, has he? No. He's just trying to stay out of the way. Corey Jensen put on his back. Walsh orchestrating. Wanted it down the short side. Hunt goes open side. Reynolds for a 40-20. Picks out Brian To'o. To'o takes it on the full. To'o back to the 30, and he's chopped down. Well, that's a potential turning point there. Broncos going for the 40-20. Brian To'o was wise to it. They need some fresh legs, the Panthers, but I'm not sure they have any. Their rotation got messed up when Sorensen was ruled out 2 minutes into the contest. Leota bobbles the ball. Tackle 4, just inside the Broncos half. Yo to Cleary. Smith goes out the back for Talangi. Talangi bends the line, goes straight through, and he's brought to ground 5th and last. 25 out. Cleary heads back open side. Kicks for the corner. Tungo chasing through to put pressure on. He's bumped off the ball. Penalty to the Panthers. Escorted off the ball. That's the moment they needed. That's the moment they needed, the Panthers. The Broncos are going to captain's challenge. The penalty's gone to the Panthers. The escort against Ezra Mam, who backs into Tungo and knocks him off the ball. But they've challenged here, the Broncos. He blatantly changes direction there, Ezra, and clearly braces for impact. Knew what he was doing. He absolutely knew what he was doing there, Ezra. He absolutely knew what he was doing. Unsuccessful challenge. And boy, did the Panthers need that. A penalty 5 metres out. A full set of 6. I don't think it does them any good taking the 2. Cleary taps and goes. Gives it to Leota. Leota 5 metres out. On play 1 in midfield. Left for Yo. Inside ball for Smith. Smith fends off Talty. Corey Jensen, rather, it was. Kenny to Cleary. Inside ball for Tungo. Tungo heads back towards the post. Halfway through the set. Halfway through. Kenny goes left for Cleary. Short ball for Talangi. Then it's been dropped by Garner. Play on. Broncos back in possession. 0 tackle. 10 out from their own line. The big D wrapped up by Smith. That's the first. Uncharacteristic mistakes here from the Panthers. Early shift from the Broncos. Mam takes on Cleary. Cleary has help from Tungo and Leota. Brings him down. Staying on the short side for Shibasaki. Tackle 3. 20 out from their own line. The Broncos playing the ball to nobody. Reece Walsh loses it. Knock on. Oh, he said play on. He's given them 6 again and play on, has he? No, just play on. Knocked back against Reece Walsh is the call. 5th and last now. The kick will be from inside their own 40. Reynolds puts it high. A looping kick taken on the fall by To'o. And Brian To'o now heads back towards the 40. Catches Payne in the half, snapping. Oh, Reece Walsh lucky to get away with it. They're starting to get some calls, the Broncos. That seemed like a pretty blatant knock on to me. Alamotti up over halfway. Into Broncos territory they go again. 17.5 to play. Panthers by 8. Smith puts the head down. Takes on Jordan Ricky. Ricky has some help with Reynolds and they drive him back to the 40. 2 left here for the Panthers. Cleary onto Leota. Leota puts the head down and charges. 5th and last. Kenny back down the short side for Cleary to put the kick up. Contestable ball again. Karapani does well. Flicks it out the back for Walsh. Walsh on Cleary. Slips. Cleary takes him. 12 out from their own line, the Broncos. 16 minutes to play. Both teams now looking completely gassed. 8 points the margin. The big D bends the line. Mariners had a strong second half. Reynolds onto Staggs. Staggs been well contained tonight. He got the try, of course, off the back of a kick, but he hasn't bent the line. Jamming in his Tungo, puts the hit on Mam. Had to make that tackle. John Michael with the $15 super chat. Thank you, my friend. As Walsh, a low flat kick from inside the 40. And it sits up for Edwards. 16 minutes to play. Edwards returns it to the 30. Heading across field now, Edwards. Straightens. Almost burst through. John Michael with the $15 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. Cheers, mate. 15 minutes to play. This is where Reece Walsh's toilet water starts to kick in. And he goes up a level. 15.5. Cleary steps back in field. Pops it up. For Yo. Yo goes straight up the middle. Isaiah Yo steps around Walsh. Walsh gets him from behind and brings him down on play 4. 15 out. Cleary in midfield. To Talangi. Cut out pass for McLean. McLean one-on-one with Staggs. Bumps him off. And Reynolds comes across and supports. 5th and last. 5 out from the line. Cleary. Grubbers in behind. Played out by the Broncos. 6 more tackles, Panthers. Cleary dives on the loose ball. 5 meters out, full set of 6. Cleary's got a little bit of a cork in the leg there after that one. Lindsay Smith straightens. Offloads back for Kenny. Kenny fires it over to Edwards. Inside ball for Leota. Leota from a standing start. 5 meters out, right in front of the sticks. Play 2. Cleary on the left. Dummies inside. Dummies outside. Cleary almost breaks through. Jordan Ricky with the try saver. They're a meter out here, the Panthers. McLean slots into dummy half. Yo in midfield. Steps around Ben Hunt. Play 4. 5 meters out. Kenny goes left for Cleary. Short ball to Smith. Popped back for Talangi. Keeping the ball alive now. Leota in midfield with the settler. Moses Leota. 5 out. Right in front of the posts. Kenny goes open side. Out the back for Cleary. Grubbers in behind the line. Talangi toes it through. And Payne in the half dives on the loose ball. A goal line dropout incoming. Whew. And Haas has gone down with cramp. Here's my chance for a break. What do the Broncos do here? Walsh keeps it low and flat. It's trapped by Casey McLean and the Panthers have it. Ducking under the tackle is Casey. Manuel Snow says it's not cramp, it's gout. Oh, dear. I've had gout before. It's not pleasant. 13 minutes left to play. Panthers, 10 out. Cleary out the back for Edwards. Numbers to the right here. Tungo in and away. Well wrapped up by Shibasaki. 5 meters out. Play 3. Alamotti in to play dummy half. Cleary has it in midfield. Cut out pass for Yo. Goes out the back for Talangi. Well read by Reynolds. Reynolds swings him down. 20 out from the line on play 4. Short side again. Cleary. Short ball there for Smith. Or Garner, rather. Luke Garner, 5 meters out. 5th and last. Cleary. A low grubber kick. Scooped up. Well taken there by Tyson Smoothy. And the Broncos hold on. Shibasaki now winds up. 15 out from their own line. Short side for Karapani. Well met by the Panthers defense. 12 minutes left to play. 8 points the difference. Willison chopped down. 30 out from their own line here, the Broncos. Into midfield. Numbers out to the right. Touched by the Panthers. 6 more. Staggs now. One-on-one with Garner. Almost goes straight through. Katoni Staggs. Tackle 1 inside the Panthers half. Walsh at first receiver. On to Reynolds. Oh, Tyson Smoothy bobbles the ball. Nearly spills it. Now gets a late offload. Back for Hunt. Hunt to Reynolds. Gaps opening up now in the Panthers' defense. Ezra Mam's been cut in half by Nathan Cleary. 30 out from the line. Broncos. Jensen steps in field. 20 out. 11 minutes to play. Reynolds. Late ball to Willison. Angling back in. Halfway through the set. 10 meters out. Hunt goes off down the short side. Nathan Cleary bats it down. It sits up for Willison. Willison takes advantage and dives over to score. Nathan Cleary bats the ball down, going for the intercept. It bounces up perfectly for big Xavier Willison. And it's about to be a 2-point ball game with 10.5 to play. Hunt down the short side. Cleary going for the intercept. Can't hold on. And Xavier Willison, it just bounces nicely into his hands. 14-10 with the kick to come. Scott Sorensen ruled out in the opening 2 minutes. The Panthers, they were always going to run out of steam in the back end. That's a huge, huge try. 14-10 with the kick to come. He just couldn't quite scoop it in there, Nathan Cleary. Jace, ahoy, mate. What a big 10 minutes we've got to finish this. 9.5 to go. Reece Walsh with the conversion attempt. He moves in. He's missed it. It's hit the upright and bounced away. Hits the upright, bounces away. From right beside the posts. and it remains 14 points to 10. Golden point is now not out of the question. A Panthers penalty. They will now surely take the 2 if it's kickable. Golden point is not out of... This one might not be over after 80 minutes. Walsh from right beside the post hits the upright and bounces away. Edwards with the restart. Taken on the goal line by the Big D. And it's Jansen who winds up. And the Broncos will start this set on their own 20. Ricky. They're finishing the stronger of the two teams here. The Broncos. Reynolds inside ball for Willison. Willison taken down 40 out from their own line. Haas in midfield, bends the line again. Big pain in the Haas. That's play 4 on halfway. This has been a good set. Walsh, cut out pass to Staggs, who's chopped down. He gets up and goes again, Staggs. 5th and last. Walsh from 40 out. Poor kick. The Panthers, will they attack it? No, they let them take it. Beware the second kick. It sits in behind. It's going to bounce up and sit up in the end goal. Talangi ducks under the tackle. Offloads to Edwards. Edwards back into the field of play. Oh, that's risky business. Schneider scurries off down the short side. Oh, that's risky. Oh, that's heart and mouth stuff. To'o down the short side. The Panthers are out on their feet. The Panthers are just barely holding on. 8 minutes left to play. Schneider infield to Alamotti. That's the 5th and last. Cleary will need a monstrous kick here. He's got the breeze at his back. He sends it down the middle. Walsh takes it on the fall, gives it off there to Carapani. Carapani returns it to the 30. And the Broncos will start this set in great field position. 7.5 minutes to play. Short side for Mam. Mam takes the line on. 40 out from their own line. Willison. On tackle 3. Still in their own half for the moment, the Broncos. Reynolds out the back to Walsh. Walsh with the double pump. Read well by Garner. And Walsh goes to ground just inside the Panthers' half. 2 tackles left. 7 minutes to play. Reynolds on to Jansen. Jansen with a settler up the middle. 40 metres out. 14 points to 10. Hunt to Reynolds, who puts this one high. Contestable kick. Pressure on Edwards. Edwards takes it well. But the Panthers pinned down in their own corner. 5 out from the line. To'o tries to step away from Hunt. 6.5 to play. Panthers by 4. Edwards goes again. Halfway through the set, they're still inside their own 20. Alamotti brings it outside the red zone. Do they kick early? Where's Cleary? Down the short side. Cleary onto Papali'i. Papali'i to Tungo. Ducks under the tackle of Shibasaki. That's the 5th and last. Cleary lurking at the back here from inside the 40. Looks to angle it towards the sideline. It's taken on the fall by the Big D. Mariner winds up. And Mariner just short of his own 40. 5 minutes to go. Broncos 40 out from their own line. Dominating territory and possession in the second half. 14 points to 10. The Panthers absolutely out on their feet. Holding on. The 5-peat for now still alive. But the Broncos finishing strong. Even Ivan looks worried. The Broncos definitely finishing the stronger of the two teams. Haas with a loose ball out the back for Reynolds. Reynolds dives on it on a halfway. Tackle 4. Mam at first receiver. On to Jansen. Jansen with the settler again. 5th and last. 5 minutes to play. They're 40 metres out from the line again. Reynolds. They're going to run here. Inside ball. Opens them up. Tap down. 6 again. Broncos. Tap down by Blaze Talangi. 6 more tackles. Scrum down Broncos. 5 minutes to play. 4 minutes 45. Blaze Talangi this time going for the intercept. Doesn't get it. Oh, what a finish. The Panthers are completely gassed. They're completely out on their feet. They have just 4 minutes 40 to hold on. Mam to Shibasaki down this left edge. Shibasaki taken down 25 meters out from the line. It's been a game of 2 halves. It was all Panthers in half 1. It's been all Broncos in half 2. 15 out. 4 tackles left. 4.5 minutes left. Reynolds at the back to Walsh. Walsh bends the line. Gets the pass over the top. It bounces up for the Big D. Big D bursts through and scores. Mariner scores. 4 minutes to play. 14 apiece. Kick to come. The pass bounces up and the Big D dives over. 14 points apiece with 4 to play. The Big D, Dane Mariner, bursts his way through 2 very tight Panthers defenders. A miracle ball over the top. And it's Lindsay Smith, Brian Toll, and Dylan Edwards. 3 defenders to score out wide. Adam Reynolds to take over the kicking duties. Adam Reynolds to take the kick from the sideline. Adam Reynolds with 4 minutes to play from touch. What a moment. The dynasty on the line. 14 points apiece. Adam Reynolds stepping up. Five in from touch. Reynolds moves in, puts it on target. It holds its line, and the Broncos lead by 2 with 3 minutes to play. 16-14. 3 minutes to play. Wow. Reynolds steps up. Reece Walsh fluffed one from right in front that still snuck through. And then he hooked one into the post from just to the left of the post. Panthers will go short here with the restart. Got to get their hands on the ball. Cleary goes short. Taken by the Broncos. The Big D, Dane Mariner, has come in clutch. Three minutes left. And the Big D, Dane Mariner, scores the match-winning try and now claims the short restart. Now, we're going to see so many niggling injuries in this set of 6 as the Broncos will have one set of 6 to defend. 2 minutes 40 to go. Jansen takes it up to halfway. Kenny brings him down with Papali'i and Leota. Pass. 40 out. Fifth and last. The Broncos will have one set of 6 to defend. Reynolds chips it over the top for the quarter. Edwards takes it, and the Panthers will have to go length of the field. To'o. Wrapped up by Hunt. 2 minutes left to play. Edwards goes from dummy half. Taken down by Staggs. Penalty to the Panthers. This will be a piggyback upfield. Cleary will thump it into touch with this breeze. Finding touch, well, not a lot of distance on it. Not a lot of distance at all. They'll get a full set of 6. McLean taps and goes. 30 out from their own line. No more penalties for the Broncos. Garner. 35 out. They'll get a full set of 6, the Panthers. Smith to Yo at the back for Cleary. Cleary the double pump for Edwards. The Broncos are numbered up in defence. Alamotti steps in field. Mam across over the top. Halfway through the set, 40 metres out from the line. Alamotti plays it. Cleary. Cut out pass to Smith in midfield. Smith takes it up the middle. 2 tackles left. Kenny to Cleary down the short side. Back in field for Yo. Yo to Smith. Goes again. Cut out pass for Leota. Leota from a standing start. A settler up the middle. Play 4. They're 20 metres out, the Panthers. Yo. Fires it back for Cleary. It's a loose pass. Cleary takes it outside the 40. Has to run now. Flicks it out to Edwards. Dylan Edwards with the 2-point drop goal. It's a shocker. Why didn't they go for the try? Why didn't they go for the try? The Broncos have won. Why did they not back themselves for the try? The Broncos were holding on for dear life. They've gone for the 2-point field goal to send it into Golden Point. And they've absolutely muffed it. About as good as it feels being a Cats supporter, Michelle, I would say. Come on, I picked it 12 months out and fell 30 seconds short. That's a pretty good effort. That's a pretty good effort. I don't think you have the right to shit talk. I picked it 12 months out and I fell 30 seconds short of being right. Got to give me points for that. Reece Walsh heads towards the sideline as the siren blows. And the Broncos have earned the right to lose to the Melbourne Storm next week. 16-14. And the streak is over. And you can see what it means to the players. They've played their grand final here this week. Adam Reynolds is in tears. They feel like it's a redemption arc. I don't quite understand how, because you would have to beat the team in a grand final, I would have thought, for it to be a redemption arc. But it was a game of 2 halves. The Panthers ran out of troops. They ran out of gas. Scott Sorensen out in the opening 2 minutes of the game with a failed HIA. It was always going to be a tough end of the game for the Panthers, much like it was against the Titans when HIAs killed them. A Storm Broncos grand final. Dylan Edwards. Why didn't they go for the try? 20 metres out from the line. 2 tackles to go. And they've fired it back outside the 40. It was a poor pass. Cleary had to run back into the 40-metre line to try and snap it. Forced to give it out to Dylan Edwards in a terrible position. They probably should have taken the hit up Gone for the glory, gone for the try. What a piece of history we've been part of, though, the past 4 years. It has been such an honour to be part of this Penrith Panthers machine. 4 in a row. Should have already been 5 in a row. Going for 6. From outside the 4 to go within 30 seconds of another grand final. Just miraculous, miraculous. Walnut Hills, ahoy, mate. Oh, boy. What a game. I'm so glad that I skipped the Springboks. I had a choice to do the Springboks and Argentina game and be probably pretty wiped out for this one. I decided to skip the Springboks Argentina game because I thought it would be the one-way traffic that it ended up being, so that I could be fully up for this one. Boy, I'm glad that I did. Boy, I'm glad that I did. Oh. Oh, excuse me. Absolutely gassed. 16-14. 3 tries to 2. It's hard to argue with. But, yeah. Walnut Hills says, honestly, I think... Oh, where's it gone? Walnut Hills says, honestly, I think Brisbane can knock Melbourne over next weekend. Well, they're going to have to play better than that. They're going to have to play better than that. That's for sure. You know, they had a lot of luck. I don't think they're going to get lucky against the Melbourne Storm in a grand final. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Panthers should have just gone for the try. I don't understand why they were... Dynasty moment. They were out on their feet. There was no way they were going to get through Golden Point anyway. I don't understand why they don't just go for the try. Try and inject the fresh legs. But, I mean, geez. 4 premierships in a row. They said that it wasn't possible in the modern era, the salary cap era. It's not possible to go 4 in a row, is what they said. So the fact that they even got here is incredible. And the scary thing is, they'll be back again next year. They'll be back again next year, the Panthers. I mean, it took them half a season to even be in the running this year. So, I mean, they're going to be in the finals contention. I'm not saying they'll win, but I'm saying they'll be in the finals contention for many, many years to come. Nyan Cat says, honestly, when finals was not happening, Dolphin was supposed to make it to the finals, but there wasn't. Dolphins, in fairness, had a lot of injuries throughout the course of the year. I mean, Bostock and 2 smoking barrels. Jack Bostock, one of the players of the year until he got injured, ruled out for the season. And then they copped some other injuries as well. It was a tough ride for the Dolphins. In total fairness to them. Record will stand. No team outside of the top 4 has won the premiership. Yes, they were both knocked out in the prelims. That's for sure. Well, at least I had some joy in the betting stakes. We got Katoni Staggs, first, second, or third try scorer. Hang on. We got that one. Katoni Staggs, first, second, or third try scorer. So we got across the line in that one. So it's a winning day. We only got the one tick, Katoni Staggs, of course, on the multi. We got 0 ticks off my interchange multi. That's hilarious, but not unexpected. And of course, that monster bet that I put on with the 7 legs, I only got 2 of those legs. Paul Alamotti and Katoni Staggs, the only 2 legs to come through. DJ Shaq says, I'd be lying to you. I kind of wanted someone else to win for once. Yeah, that's totally fair, mate. That's totally fair. I mean, as an All Black supporter in the rugby union, everybody outside of New Zealand wants the demise of the All Blacks. So I completely understand. Supporters wanted this grand final. ARW says no team will ever again go to 5 straight grand finals and win 4 in a row. It'll be a long while. I'll never see it in my lifetime. I don't know how old or young everybody is out there in the chat room, but I'll never see that again in my lifetime. 4 in a row, should have already been 5. Jace says, can we get 100? Oh, can we get 100 likes? Click that like button. In all honesty, look, Wasted World of Sports, we do alternative commentary of your favorite sports each and every weekend. So if you are enjoying hanging out and partying with us here, do feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. Oh, I wondered if we would get to 7,900 subscribers. We got to 7,962. I'm starting to think that maybe 8,000 isn't out of the question. I mean, is there 38 people still out there right now in the chat that are not currently subscribed, that have enjoyed hanging out with me here today and would love to come back again for the grand final next week to see the Melbourne Storm lift the premiership? Do feel free to hit that subscribe button. 7,964 subscribers. Can we hit 8,000? Oh, boy, I really need to have a break. I have needed to have a whiz for about the last 10 minutes of that game. So I'm going to have a quick toilet break. Unlike Reece Walsh, I'm not going to drink the water. And I'll be back to dissect everything that we just witnessed here in preliminary final number 2. All right. So, Fat Bloke 48 wants to know if I'll be doing both grand finals. Well, we will definitely be covering the NRL Grand Final. Definitely. The Storm haven't won it for a while, so yeah, I'm pretty keen to see them lift the trophy again. But what do you mean by both grand finals? Sorry, Fat Bloke 48. My apologies. Ads says now Brisbane needs to beat the Storm. Sick of them winning all the time also. Oh, God, they're going to have to be... They're going to have to be so much better. And you know what? Like, just talking about dynasties being over, just answering that question that came up, or not question, but that statement in the chat room about the Panthers' streak has been broken. I don't think the dynasty's over, because did anyone see in the lower grades earlier today, Melbourne Storm won the premiership over the Penrith Panthers in the final? I'm sorry, but these two teams are going to be in the prelims and in the grand finals for many, many years to come. So I guess the question, and this is probably way too detailed a question to get into for this moment, but the question is, if the salary cap's not working, how do we even up all these teams? Player draft is out of the question. The player draft is not happening. Terry Hill and the Players Union put the kibosh on that decades ago. So that's not happening. So if salary cap's not, does the salary cap need to tighten? But anyway, that's a, as I said, that's sort of a topic that we could go into for hours on end. Well, I got Katoni Staggs first, second, or third try scorer. So it was a winning day overall. Not a lot. It balanced out all my other bets, and we ended up about $20 ahead overall. So I think, yeah, about $15 ahead. ARW says 10-year anniversary of Ben Hunt's blunder in the grand final also. Oh, now, since you bring that up, ARW, I said, I can't remember exactly when I said this, but I did say if the Broncos, I think it was a video I did last year when Ben Hunt was signed. And I said, if the Broncos make it to a grand final, the first kickoff, you put it straight at Ben Hunt, don't you? Surely. Even if they put Ben Hunt 10 meters out, or 10 meters short of halfway on the 40-meter line, you kick short. The first kickoff of the grand final has to target Ben Hunt, even if you give away field position. Because you've got to let him know that we all remember. Mind games. Mind games. What it's all about. Jerome Hughes could be looking a lot like JT with the headgear. Ben Hunt could be getting PTSD, and Jerome Hughes has been in sensational form as well. Jerome Hughes is surely the Dally M halfback of the year, right? Or is he Katoa? But I think, I know that Hughes has been out injured a couple of times. He's had a couple of periods of injury, and he's missed a lot of game time, but you'd back him in, wouldn't you? I mean, you've got to look at, Katoa had a breakout season, but just what Jerome Hughes is pulled off this season can't be overlooked, you would think. I know that the Dally M obviously works off points, and you get the points by being involved in games. So that might come back to haunt Jerome Hughes, but Game ML says 2 interstate teams in the grand final. Wonder what ticket sales will be like. Ticket sales will be absolutely fine, Game ML. Absolutely fine. I mean, the Broncos are one of the biggest clubs in the game, right? There'll be a lot of people traveling from Brisbane. And even though Melbourne obviously don't have the following that AFL has, but they'll get some people as well. Remember that Melbourne, and I say this with no disrespect intended at all, Melbourne are still basically a Queensland club. Their administration was all taken from Queensland. Their juniors play in the Queensland Cup system. Their feeder club is from Queensland. So there's a lot of Queensland support for the Melbourne Storm as well. And I say this non-jokingly, it will almost feel like, in some respects, an all-Queensland grand final. And I say that very respectfully. The Melbourne Storm administration, very, very strong ties in Queensland because they don't have their own feeder system. It's not a dig. It's just the reality of the situation. There's no feeder system directly in Melbourne. It's AFL territory, and AFL territory it will remain. So in some respects, it's almost like an all-Queensland grand final. Ticket sales will be absolutely fine, though, Game ML. I wouldn't worry about that whatsoever. Ads says Melbourne has been the unofficial other Brisbane team for years. Exactly. And people always travel for it anyway. It's become, an NRL grand final has become a what's the word? A spectacle. Kind of like State of Origin. State of Origin is a spectacle. NRL Grand Final is a spectacle. You go to the NRL Grand Final. You watch the NRL. Like, obviously, I have to watch it because it's now my job. It's my job to cover it. But even if I weren't, you still watch the... I mean, there were years way before this YouTube channel and this Twitch channel. Years before that... that I would put the NRL Grand Final on in the background, even when I wasn't following the sport. Craig Howarth says, I had the Broncos written off, and you did ask what would happen if they won. And remember, Craig, I did say, I hope that we get to the end of 80 minutes and we're talking about what a good game it was, and we're not talking about the referee and the bunker. And lo and behold, thankfully, we're talking about what a great game it was, and we're not talking about the referee or the bunker. How good is that? How good is that? I mean, we can talk about the referee or the bunker if we like. There were some questionable calls there that went against both teams, but I think overall it was a good game, well controlled. For the Panthers, they just ran out of gas, losing Scott Sorensen so early on. When you lose a forward in your bench rotation that early, I mean, 3 minutes in, 3 minutes they were down a player. It was always going to come back to haunt them at the back end of the game. Yeah, well, Game Mel, you might be at the grand final, right? You might actually be at the grand final. So there you go. Imagine that. Game ML gives us a FaceTime call from the grandstand. How cool would that be? KCT says the referee, he put the whistle in the pocket those last 20 minutes. I think we can all agree, though, that nobody, right? I'll ask this to the chat room. Nobody, right? Nobody wants Ashley Klein officiating the grand final, right? I think everybody is in agreement in that. Apart from maybe Broncos supporters want Ashley Klein. But I think most other people don't want Ashley Klein anywhere near it. Yeah, look, ARW, 1 point of contention for me was since it was brought up. Since it was brought up, I'll take the bite, and we'll talk about it just very, very briefly. I don't want to go on about it too much. But 2 weeks ago, Raiders versus Broncos, Hudson Young rubbed Reece Walsh's head. Reece Walsh turned around and headbutted him, and the penalty went to the Broncos because Hudson Young instigated the flare-up. Right? Tonight, Ezra Mam shoves Nathan Cleary down on the ground twice. Liam Martin comes in and takes Ezra Mam off the ball. Penalty goes to Brisbane. It doesn't go against Ezra Mam for instigating the flare-up. So, inconsistency. But that was a small thing. That was a very small thing. I think the Panthers were already done at that point. They were already completely out of gas. Panthers were completely out of gas. They lost Scott Sorensen in the opening 3 minutes. The back end of the game was always going to be difficult for them. The Broncos, at that point, were always going to finish the stronger of the two teams. Panthers needed to make sure they had enough of a lead to not get run down at the end. I'm still trying to figure out, Fat Bloke 48, if you're still there, will I be doing both grand finals? I don't know. I do apologize. I don't know what other grand finals are on. Because we did on the channel the AFL grand final. That was yesterday. We did a double stream. We did the AFL grand final in the other room, and I was covering the Bledisloe Cup here in the main studio. We had them both running at the same time. It was awesome. Oh, the NRLW grand final. No, I won't be. I won't be doing that. Sorry. I get called sexist all the time for having no interest in the NRLW, but I'm sorry, I just don't. Check it out, yes, in our YouTube history, the AFL Grand Final. Very lopsided, very lopsided. Let's see, scrolling back through the chat here, seeing if anything interesting pops up. James, you put $100 on the Broncos at $17. What's that for, mate? The premiership? To win the premiership a few weeks out? Alice Blackmore, ahoy there. Welcome along. Scrolling back up. Let's see what we got. At least I'm glad everybody agrees that Ashley Klein should be nowhere near the grand final. Oh, here we go. DJ Shaq talking about Jerome Hughes. He's been outstanding, but you fear his shoulder may literally turn into spaghetti. How old's Jerome Hughes? Here's a question. How old is the J. Hughes? Jerome Hughes is 30. Okay. All right. So I can kind of understand it. Man. Once, as a rugby league player or rugby union player, once you sort of hit 30, you're in the back end of your career, right? it might not sound like some players go on. Obviously, some players go on 34, 35. But that, that's a sort of a rarity. So I can understand, he's hit the 30 mark. The Melbourne haven't won the premiership for a while. Nobody's won the premiership for a while, have they? Because the Panthers have done 4 in a row. So I can kind of understand it. He might shorten his career by a couple of years if he just completely folds his shoulder. But I can understand at 30 years old. Look, if he was like, if he were like 25, 26, you would maybe, mate, look, you'll be back. You're in a great system there in the Melbourne Storm. You'll be back again. You'll get another chance, like maybe play it safe and, just focus on next year. But since he is entering that sort of back end of his career, I can understand why he would want to. And look, Craig Bellamy's not stupid. They wouldn't have put him out there if they didn't feel like he was up for it, regardless of what he thought. I just think the Melbourne Storm system is too professional. They're not going to put somebody out there if they don't think that they're up to it. ARW says Karapani and Mariner won't be able to handle Coates and Warbrick in the air next weekend. Will be a lot of Stags, escort penalties, or tackle in midair. Melbourne 13+. Yeah, well, look, I'm going to let Brisbane Broncos fans enjoy their moment. They're through to the grand final, so I won't bang on about it too much. But I did say, in order to beat the Penrith Panthers tonight, the Brisbane Broncos would have to play their grand final this weekend. I think that they'll get touched up quite badly in the grand final. To get the job done tonight against the dynasty that is the Penrith Panthers, they had to leave it all out there. This was their grand final, in my opinion. But we'll see. I also said that they would get slaughtered in this one. So, take it for what it's worth. They might have another 80 minutes in them. So, Game ML says, Dan, you asked me on Friday who I would rather versus the Broncos proved me wrong. Well, you know what, Game ML, I honestly can't remember what you said. I remember asking the question. I can't remember what you said. You said you'd rather play the Panthers, didn't you? Or am I mistaken? I can't recall. That was a good night, though, Game ML. Thank you very much for hopping on there and joining us. By the way, people in the chat, there is a channel membership tier where you too can do what Game ML did. I mean, it will have to obviously wait till next season now, unless you're into rugby union. But there is a tier of channel membership where you can choose to come onto a stream with us. You can share. We've had a couple of people do it now. Game ML just did the preliminary final, Sharks versus Storm. We also had Captain Redbeard, who joined us in, I think, the first season that Wasted World of Sports existed, who also chose a Sharks game. I can't help but notice all the channel members choose Sharks games. Is that because I'm a Sharks supporter? It could have something to do with it. Choose the Sharks game so that they're against me in the commentary. So yes, you too can join the stream and help with the call on a particular channel. Memberships start around about $1.50 or something. I think $1.99, something like that. I should know these things. It's my channel. I should know these things. No, Craig. I mean, they choose Sharks games but support the other team is what I mean. Yeah. Like Captain Redbeard picked Cowboys versus Sharks. He's a Cowboys supporter. Gamer Mel picked Storm versus Sharks. She's a Storm supporter. That's what I mean. For some reason, they pick Sharks games. Not because they go for them. I think because I go for them. That's what I meant. All right. I'll be right back. I should just get a toilet installed right here in front of the microphone. Right there. That'd solve all my problems. Genitalia says 10 out of 10 from Haas. Well, yes, he did play the whole 80. Haas was pretty well contained in the first half. Not that he was bad. I'm not suggesting he was bad. He was just contained in the first half. Haas opened up in the second. Shibasaki was a 0 out of 10 in the first 40. Shibasaki was probably close to a 10 out of 10 in the second half. Stags was like a 2 out of 10 in the first half. Maybe an 8 or 9 in the second. They had players step up, did the Broncos, who had very quiet first halves. And opened up then in the second when they needed to. But yeah, Payne Haas, the Panthers wrapped the ball up well on Payne Haas. He didn't really get his offload game working. ARW says Melbourne just need to let Broncos be up by 16 with 15 left. Melbourne just need to let the Broncos be up with 16 with 15 left and Mam to have a hat trick. All right, what do we got? David in it. Hear me out. The resolution to having Mam, Dozer, and Reynolds on. Dozer stays one side, Reynolds the other. With Mam and Walsh popping up everywhere, they see opportunities, making calls to Pakes at 9. Okay. So having the resolution, having Mam, Dozer, and Reynolds on. Okay, so Ezra Mam, Ben Hunt, and Adam Reynolds are all on the field at the same time. Reynolds is on one side, Hunt's on the other side. With Mam and Walsh popping up everywhere, they see opportunities, making calls to Pakes at 9. So my question is, if Mam, Hunt, and Reynolds are all on the field at the same time, but Pakes is still at number 9, where's Ezra playing? That's my question there. I just want to know that. If those three are on the field at the same time, one's left, one's right, Walsh is at fullback, lurking out the back on one side, Mam's lurking out the other side, who's off? Stags, Shibasaki, like who makes way if Pakes is still out there too? That'd be my question to that, just so that I can get a gauge, a Nick gauge of what's happening. Shane Byrne, 1990, wants to know if it will be close next week. Or you know what? I hate to say it, but we have to know. We have to know who the referee is, right? I don't think we're going to know Because Grant Atkins did extremely well tonight. He let the game flow. We've seen Adam G. Adam G refereed one of the all-time great grand finals in 2023. He did a fantastic job refereeing that game. Do we get Ashley Klein? We can't get Ashley Klein, surely. We can't get Ashley Klein. Ashley Klein... I don't think Ashley Klein's biased. I've talked about this a few times. I don't think Ashley Klein is biased towards anybody. I think he just sucks at his job. And it's a tough gig. Don't get me wrong. I was, for a couple of years there, interested in being a referee. Just a couple of years. It would be a tough gig. I can't imagine. I mean, just constantly under scrutiny, week in, week out. More so than the players, right? Way more so than the players. Week in, week out, under constant scrutiny. Everything that you say or do getting questioned. So, I hate to say it. I just think he's terrible. Now, I know that if I'm terrible at my job, I get fired. There seems to be just no... Yeah, there just seems to be no... what's the word? Accountability for the referees. But anyway, Michael Peters does hope it's that scumbag. Whoa! That scumbag. Klein. Cheating scumbag. Oh, that's a bit rough. Michael, that's a bit rough. So an edge forward comes off. Okay, so are you starting the game with an edge forward off? That'd be a bit risky, wouldn't it? Especially in the early going. Or are we playing 30 minutes or so and then bringing one of the edges off? It certainly comes with its risks. An edge forward comes off. So are you keeping, in that case, are you keeping Ezra Mam or Corey Pakes as a utility? Mam at 14. Okay. Klein is a dirty cheat. It should be banned. Oh, dear. ARW says Buzz Rothfield has stated he's 99.9% sure Klein will be sacked as grand final referee and Atkins will be given the duty via Fox League News. Well, God bless Buzz, but he doesn't have a good history, does he? He doesn't have a good recent track record of being right. Buzz... But I digress. God bless him. I don't mind Buzz. I actually really don't mind Buzz. As far as rugby league journalists go, I mean, Brent Reed can get in the bin. Old Reedy, he can get in the bin. Bulldog, what's his actual name? I know his nickname's Bulldog. He's pretty shocking. But yeah, I don't mind Dean Ritchie. Yeah, he's a bit of a stinker. I don't mind Buzz most of the time, though. I sometimes with Buzz, I don't know if anybody watches NRL 360, but sometimes Buzz is like this close to a point, and Gordy or Reedy will jump in over the top of him, and he won't quite get to the point, and it sort of gets to the very brink where I'm like, I can see what he's trying to say here. He just hasn't been, or Braith will jump in over the top of him. I can see the point that he's trying to make. He's just not quite saying the right things to get the rest of the panel to understand where he's coming from. And so they jump in over the top of him and they argue back at him. And then once they start arguing with him, Buzz sort of arcs up and gets himself drawn into arguments rather than just going, no, just wait, let me finish, and if I say the rest of this sentence, you might get where I'm coming from a little better. but he gets drawn into the arguments, does Buzzer, and just sort of loses his way a little bit. But overall, a lot of the time, I can kind of see what he's trying to say. David Innit says, honestly, don't know how Gordy is on that panel. The bloke's got 2 brain cells left, and they're both fighting for third place. Both fighting for third place. What I find hilarious, once again, I'm not sure who watches NRL 360. One of the funniest things about NRL 360 is when Gordy starts an argument and then midway through the argument forgets, whether he forgets on purpose or he's just trying to be a dick, forgets what he said in the first instance and flips to the other side of the argument mid conversation. He does it all the time. Does anyone watch NRL 360 and know what I'm talking about? Gordy will start an argument and then he will flip halfway through the conversation and suddenly he'll be on the other side of the fence that he started on. And you're just listening or watching and going, wait a minute, what? He's now saying, did he just now say this? That's in complete contrast to what he opened the argument with. It's quite funny. Poor Gordy. I don't know whether he does it on purpose, just for a little bit of a laugh, or yes, Craig, more concerning, maybe too many blows to the head. Maybe too many blows to the head. All right. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Game of Mel. Catch you later. Thanks for an amazing season. It's not over yet, Game of Mel. Why are you talking like it's over? And the year's not over for us either. There's plenty of rugby union to come. There's the Pacific Championships to come. I'll be in Melbourne the first week of November for anybody who's interested. I will be out and about in Melbourne on the 7th of November, which I believe is a Friday night. So if you're out and about in Melbourne, keep an eye out for me. It will likely be at a strip club. I'm not going to lie. But yes, thank you, Gamer Mel. Gamer Mel's already waved the white flag. So yeah, Melbourne, November 7th. Keep an eye out for me around about town. I've heard that Melbourne is full of hipsters, so I'll probably stand out a long way away. You'd probably know if you bumped into me in Melbourne from what I've heard. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. 50% business, 50% pleasure. That's the idea for the trip. I'm coming down for a gig at Festival Hall. So if anyone from Melbourne in the chat room has been to Festival Hall before, yeah, let me know what I'm in for. I was a bit surprised because they kind of moved it. It was originally standing room only, but apparently it's they've changed it to seating, which I thought was weird. Because when we bought the tickets, there was no like allocated seating. So how do you have a gig that you've sold tickets to with no allocated seating turn into allocated seating? Like, what seats am I going to get allocated? I specifically spent more money than a general admission ticket. You know what I mean? Where am I going to get what seats am I going to get allocated? I would have liked to have been able to choose, but anyway, this is not a problem for you guys. This is a problem I need to sort out with the promoter of the event. Oh, trust me, I'm going to email and piss and moan until I get all kinds of free stuff thrown my way. Oh, well, I feel like I might just do a cheeky live stream on my gaming channel. That's what I'm thinking. How are we doing out there? I feel like I've spoken all I can possibly speak about for this game. I might do a cheeky live stream on my gaming channel. If you're keen to keep hanging out, let me grab a link for you. So over on Twitch, it is Intoxigamer AU. Okay. Intoxigamer AU over there on Twitch, and on YouTube, I will get the link for the chat room. Bear with me. Yeah, catch you later, Jace. I'm sure I'll chat to you at some point. Okay. At the moment, we're doing a playthrough of Killer Frequency. Killer Frequency. It's a horror game where I'm a big radio star and I've been moved into a small town and there's a killer on the loose. 911's gone out. So the 911 calls have been diverted to the radio station where I work. And I have to try and not let people die, basically, and get this killer caught. So I'll be doing that momentarily. I'll get that all set up over on Intoxigamer AU on Twitch, Intoxigamer on YouTube. I've shared the link there in the chat rooms. And yeah, rugby league fans, we will be back for the NRL Grand Final, just the men's one. Because honestly, I don't care if you think I'm sexist, but bollocks the NRLW. It can get better or it can not have my interest. I'll be brutally honest about that. But yeah, Grand Final next weekend. It'll be Sunday, right? It'll be Sunday the 5th of October. Is that correct? We'll figure it out anyway. I'll put it up on the channel with plenty of time. So there we go. Uz Makappa. I agree. NRLW is poor to watch. It's a shame. Look, I'd just like to point out, I'm not completely against it. If it gets good, I'll more than happily tune in and watch along. But yeah, they need to sort something out to just even out the talent, I think. The girls' games are just all way too lopsided. I think if they can work out a talent share system that evens up the teams, then we might be talking. All right, Intoxigamer coming up for those interested and want to keep hanging out with me as I continue to party on here this Sunday night. I'll be going live there in about half an hour's time. Thank you so much for your company on this one. The dynasty is over. Well, the streak's broken. I don't think the dynasty's over. The Panthers dynasty will live on into next season. But the streak is definitely over. The dream of the 5-peat, gone. Melbourne Storm, Brisbane Broncos, Grand Final next weekend. Sunday, the 5th of October. We will catch you there. Thank you so much. We got the one win tonight. Katoni Staggs, first, second, or third try scorer. Nailed on. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much. Cheers from the Wasted World of Sports crew.
Wasted world of sports, eh?
Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Tedesco's butt crack.
Ahoy!
He's nearly taken security's head off.
I have no idea what the wasted world of sports is.